Got a little soul speak on the ascension that we all share. This unveiling, this apocalypse. You know, all this discussion of what is reality, conspiracy, heresy, truth that's stranger than fiction. Doesn't get any better than this. It's not just time to bring on the apocalypse, it's time to start riding it. It's not going to hurt us. Because one thing's for sure, in our conscious mind and even in our subconscious, if that's what you want to call it, we have always survived. And the reason for that is because we never die. So when it comes to ascension, what else is there to talk about? This ascension, unveiling, is not complicated. It's just a microcosm of the state of our being from any point, from this present moment to any point in our past. And in regard to the past, now we can look back to see, to awaken without the element of linear time. Yeah. Because the wisdom still comes, because the universe is never late. That means we can take from our past the powerful wisdom of the eternal moments, seen when we unveil the hurts and the blame given and received. You know, we've reached a point where forgiveness will cease to exist. Because perfection did not create forgiveness, but as a path to a higher perfection, a new reflection of itself, of ourselves. Yeah, it's true. It's just not necessary forgiveness, and neither is earth love. So we can stop chasing both right now and all the false securities and failed searches that go with the lofty goals of a moral world. Both the things that they put beyond our reach and the reasons they gave us for not being able to reach them. It's time to re-enter the fold of the immortal, the fold of the I Am soul.
Really where it started for me is really, and I'm not going to take up, you know, our lives, all of our lives are far too multi-layered and vast to get into all of that. But I really feel that we have different times, different awakenings as we grow in consciousness. Though when I was very young, probably, and I don't do linear time very well. So when I say a date or around, it's around that date or time. And I remember this, that I was 6 years old and growing up in a very unconscious family. And I remember standing in front of a big bay window at my grandmother's house. And I said to God, what do I do now? And I said, these are not my people. And that continued on. I was very intuitive. I was very psychic from a very young age. And let's see, to fast forward, let me fast forward, yeah. So it really did start then. And then like all of us, you know, when we're younger, we have perhaps more memories or more connection. And the psychic and intuitive part never did go away. And as time progressed, I had multi-dimensional experiences, really starting actively at probably around the age of 30, though throughout that time, I had a strong connection with God. And I had a strong connection with Yeshua. And around the time of 30, I began having experiences with the Pleiadians. And I had lucid dreams that very, very clear of being in council meetings and remembering them. And moving to Arizona and finding that all of these people, new people that I was meeting, seemed to know themselves as Pleiadians as well. So they used to hang out at my house and call me the host of the Cosmos Bar back then. And anyways, that went on for quite a while. And until there was a moment when there was an infiltration, I'll just say, of at a council meeting of Pleiades. And I saw it, I called it out. And after that, all I can say is that was the end of my going to any meetings on Pleiades. And what I was told was that was an insert from me to remember the time when I was very active with the Pleiadians.
But I mean, we're more than on the precipice. We're right in the middle of this now, I think.
I think that's why I have a great deal of hope, in terms of, I was told by one whistleblower that they have technology 30 years in advance of what we have access to. And it's probably even more than that in some instances, in terms of, we've got things like Project Looking Glass, of course, which
Right.
you will know about, where they know the future. Depending on whatever action they take, they can see the future of that. And that's the one thing that's freaking them out at the moment, because apparently they tried all sorts of different actions to continue their program, but they all ended up with humanity waking up and awakening, so that, you know, they're on a loser in that sense. It's just how long can they prolong the agony before they actually lose it completely. And I always said, and I've made a joke of it sometimes, that, you know, I don't believe a lot of these new generations of human that know their star origins, have come in with this awareness, have not come in for a waste of time.
No.
They wouldn't have bothered. If they felt that they couldn't make a difference, they wouldn't have bothered to incarnate. I'm certain I wouldn't have done. I would have had an argument with whoever it was.
I still have them.
I'd say, no, thanks, I'll give that one a miss. Tell me when it works and I'll come down, you know. So I feel that with all the skills that are coming and the awareness that's coming, plus this technology that will redefine what we understand as our reality in every sense, is coming.
Right.
There's no way to stop it. We are
Right.
living in an archaic paradigm in every sense of the word. I mean, some people make the whole thing about us still using fossil fuels. We've done that for 100 years. What is that? It's ridiculous, when Tesla was talking about free energy and all the rest of it. So at some point, that's got to change. And I think it's about hanging in there and trusting the process of that shift, which is actually going on now.
Yeah.
And regarding the dams and all of that, I've heard, like you have, there's a lot of clearing out going on. And I believe a lot of the flooding that's going on in Australia at the moment, I mean, we've had more water in this little town than I've seen in 13 years of being here.
Wow.
But down in the eastern, you know, New South Wales and what have you, the floods have been extraordinary. And some have said because they're flooding the dumps.
Wow.
Flooding that.
Yeah, you know, Morgan's over at what is it? It was Gympie.
Yeah.
It was Gympie, and now she's in Pune. But she was talking about, like, for like, I think it was about a 2-week period, that at the same time every day, really like early evening, right after dark, this system would form, and then it would come in and just drench everything. I saw some pictures, and it was the same thing. It was like a 2-week period, and it was primarily in the northern part of Texas, and then it would spread into like Oklahoma and Arkansas, where I was. And it was and I saw pictures of these weather systems, and I'm not talking about, you know, aerial or out, you know, up in the clouds. I'm talking about from the ground, and they look like tsunamis in the air. Have you seen those? That's crazy.
Oh, they've admitted they're cloud seeding. And then there's the floods. In Tasmania, they were moaning at the government, saying, you're cloud seeding, and then we get all this rain. You know, this is flooding people. But what's interesting about Gympie, and Morgan will know this, of the Gympie pyramid that was actually destroyed virtually by, you know, the councils and what have you. There's barely anything left of the Gympie pyramid now. But what's interesting is it's a ley line, it's an energy line, the reason the pyramid's there. And people may not know that the gold from Gympie was part of Tutankhamun. In fact, a lot of the gold in Tutankhamun was in fact from Gympie when the Egyptians came over.
Wow.
So that's a connection to Egypt.
Yes.
Because our history is that the Egyptians came here.
Well, I mean, obviously, even here in Sedona, where I'm at, they have plenty of examples of Egyptian hieroglyphs and stuff. I mean, stuff that doesn't fit over here. I mean, based on what we were told, which is another thing. We've got so many things that are going to wake us up, I guess you could say. But anyone that does any just minimal research into hidden technology, into revised history, you know, you can go back to the late 1800s. There's all giants all over, you know, not like, you know, the majority of the population, but there are spaces, Catalina Island in California, a lot of places in the North America where they had giants, you know, through stories, through bones. I mean, you know, you've got this, the mud slide, you know, that narrative. But yeah, in technology, I saw some stuff the other day that looked very credible. I spent about an hour and a half with it because I was like, oh, is this somebody just putting this up as clickbait? And what it was because you know that whole thing like with the world fairs, how they put these monstrosities, little cities up in months and destroyed them and took them down in days. I mean, it's like, what's going on? But some of the things I saw were like small engine operated, like everything. It was like a hoverboard type of thing to a baby carriage to a little scooter. And this was like 1880, 1890. So I have a feeling that one of the things we're going to learn is when we talk about mind swipe, you know, obviously there's a lot of individuals that are like in the secret space program that are coming out with these memories coming back and so on, and even through work like yours. But I think we've had a collective mind swipe kind of thing going on that we had to get to a certain point in our evolution in order to not be susceptible to it anymore. So I think that's going to be a big wake-up call for people when they say, well, you know, like I just look at something like, we went to the moon and we stopped going. They say they lost all the pictures. They say they lost the technology. I heard this straight from the head of NASA like a week and a half ago. Well, you know, we lost that technology. We're getting it back now. Like, come on. Then you see weird stuff like Werner von Braun wrote a book. And a guy named Elon took everyone to Mars. Like, yeah, it's just, yeah, you can't make it up.
To see what you're going to choose. And if you do not choose, okay, so most of us don't understand because of the higher vibrations, cosmic vibrations, with the clearing of the cosmic Akash. We have many Akashas to clear. And we go through all of them. I didn't get to the cosmic Akash, and now Gaia's at the cosmic Akash, and universally in Gaia and all these things too, which is why everything's going down the way it is. It's a clearing of the Akash, and it's done through the distortions becoming so loud and visible that you can clear the emotions. Yeah. And the energy, and you can see it. It'll be exacerbated. That's what photonic light does. But it also gives us the ability for our consciousness to travel all the different dimensions and stuff like that. So you can lay in bed. I call it going back under. Lay in bed when the photons are really, really high and close your eyes, and you can travel through that light. You can travel into the other dimensions, and you can see. And for years, what I would do was I would, you know, everybody else would go work really hard, and I'd go jump into bed and close my eyes and go, okay, let's go travel. And I started finding out how easy it could be if I would surrender and go get in the bed and go to sleep. And because I could go into all the other dimensions and I could access the information, then I could get up and go do what I needed to do in this physical reality to make it happen. Because that's your divine masculine energy. You get access to all the other dimensions, and you get to see what you agreed to fulfill. You get to see why you're here on this planet to start with. And all the roles and purposes and missions and all these different things, you'll see them all. And then it's whether you're going to get up and accomplish it, because our physical abundance is tied to how we fulfill our higher purposes here.
Yes.
And so we are clearing a ridiculous amount of karma. And karma is just an unconscious program. It's all of our existences stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and so it's a part of our own matrix programming. And so, like a lot of people look out there at the outside matrix, but it's inside. Go inside and find your own matrix programming and collapse it yourself.
Yeah.
You know, every exchange that I have is a timeline, and I get to look at it and say, is this a karmic one, or is this one of pure source light?
Yeah.
And if there's any lack or any need or any, because humans have agendas, humans have lack, humans, the ego shows up when it wants something. It doesn't show up to contribute. It doesn't show up saying, I have something to offer. Here, let me help. It's there with its hand out. And so what we start doing and realizing is that we don't want that in our reality anymore. And the answer is no.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
And you
That's a big
surround
one.
yourself. Oh yeah, it's going to be a big one, because the divine masculine is the one that nips it in the bud. It's the one that says, no more, not my reality. This is not acceptable. And it's a part of, okay.
I like that one. I'm glad.
Okay.
I'm finally getting some brownie points here.
Okay. The divine masculine is the one that says, no more. We have human aligned realities and we have soul aligned realities, and everybody's realities are being soul aligned for them. Well, when you understand that you can align your reality yourself, you have a much easier ride, but you're doing it as love.
Yeah.
Now,
exactly.
here's the tricky part. If you're in a dualistic reality, you will always have to choose yourself. Because you're clearing duality from a reality you created from a dualistic state to start with.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
And so we have to look at it and say, I love you, but no, this is unacceptable. No, this is no longer aligned. And what we do is you say no, and you let everybody go play the realities out somewhere else. It doesn't really matter, because our new realities are all vibrational, and everybody's got to have the same. And this is where it gets tricky, is because not everybody has the same soul purposes. Not everybody wants the same thing. Yeah. Not everybody, we all are functioning from unity consciousness, which is what clears your karma. Unity consciousness clears all karma. Unity consciousness brings forth all your abundance. Unity, but it's a unified state inside of yourself where there's no more separation anymore. There's no more duality inside. There's no battle going on inside. It's no, not okay. That's just the way it is. Humans do not like higher consciousness. The human ego does not like higher consciousness. It messes with their reality. They don't have any control. And right now, observing the other day, the human ego is being taught humility right now.
Yeah.
Who's in charge? And basically, it's the whole cosmos.
Yeah.
It's not the human anymore. And so Gaia is teaching humans who's in charge. And so when we expand our consciousness to connect with Gaia and you become Gaia. You become the consciousness. You have Gaia consciousness, you have unity, you have all these different consciousnesses that you will embody for your whole presence to be that. You don't ever turn it off. Okay? You don't go unconscious anymore. You don't pretend to be small anymore. You don't pretend not to be worthy anymore. You don't pretend. Notice the words. In the beginning for me, one day I went small and I heard the words, oh, you're pretending again not to have enough. Oh, you're pretending again not to be enough. And I was like, oh, good God.
I surrender.
Well, and the cool part is you have this dialogue that goes on inside of you 24 hours a day. You're talking to yourself. You're communing on a soul level, and you work through everything. You see everything, and what I started doing was telling people, I don't want to hear what you think. I want to know what you see, because you force them to go through their heart. What do you see?
Yeah.
Now, when you have humans, the ego going through emotions, that's when I stopped asking what people felt. Because when you see from inside, you have to feel at the same time.
Yeah.
So, and our light bodies are very different. You process light intelligence, you process light codes, you process light data. And it takes longer in the beginning when your light body starts coming online, butterflies everywhere. You actually have to stop. What used to take 5 minutes or 2 seconds, your brain used to just output on a human level. You can't figure it out. You're sitting there staring at it going, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
You cannot process a linear thought. The reason being is it takes your whole body. You have to sit with it until you can see, because thought comes through your whole body connection now. Your pineal gland has to open up for you to see the picture. Everything's visual here.
Yeah.
And so what will happen is for you to process light intelligence, light codes, light information, doesn't matter, whatever words we want to use, that light is your pure source light. That light is you. That light is you on a soul level. For you to, Todd, you're going to be laying in the bed and your body's going to be going zoom, 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 zoom. And you're going to and you're going to be like, oh my God, you're like laying in a pod. It's your light ship.
Mm-hmm.
And your body will recharge, recode, recalibrate, and you'll be there for hours while your body does what it needs to do. And then what will happen is when the body's done, you'll start a tuning process and you'll start emitting plasma energy and electromagnetic energy, and you'll go poof. It's kind of weird.
No, I haven't gone poof. Last week, though, I had about, I think it was 2 days. One day it was probably about 6 hours. I had to lay down. I wasn't going to sleep, but my whole body was vibrating and tingling.
Yep.
And I was telling Morgan, I'm like, I don't know what to do. What am I supposed to do?
You lay down. You let completely go. You surrender. Your consciousness will start when you let completely go and let the body do what it needs to do. It's tuning.
Yeah.
Okay. It's raising its vibration. It's clearing old timelines. It's doing a ridiculous amount of work.
Yeah.
You let go and surrender. You lay there with your body. You can actually take your consciousness inside your body and watch what it does. You can actually listen, and your body will tell you, oh, hold on, let me make some up here of some of the ones I've gone through for years. A couple weeks ago, I'm walking through the downstairs, and it's like ocular something or another. And I'm like, oh, okay. And you go look it up, and it tells you what's going on with the frequency right then. And that's why my eyes weren't working. I'm like, oh, okay. Your pineal gland becomes your primary eye.
Yeah.
And your two eyes go fuzzy so that you can actually see. It's backwards. Your hearing will change. Your ear canals, your nasal canals, everything goes through like a ridiculous reworking process with the physical body. Your lymphatic system, every organ has to be brought online on a much higher dimensional frequency. So the physical body can drop the density. Now that density and weight are two different things.
Yeah.
The body gets bigger when it's dropping density. Okay. So you're not technically, we'll lose weight, we'll gain weight. We'll lose, we'll gain. We'll get bigger, we'll get smaller, but the weight doesn't often change, which is funny. Because what you're doing is you have more space inside for your light cells to zoom, zoom, zoom and move around. Now, the cool part is when those cells are moving, dependent on the consciousness that we've been able to achieve within ourselves, if you will.
Right.
When my light body first started to activate, then I had access to becoming, you will lay down and close your eyes and you'll be floating out in outer space. You'll be the universe.
Yeah.
You'll be zooming around through the planets. You'll be like, and it's bizarre. You will feel like you're going to leave the body. The human aspect will want to kick in and hang on. You'll feel gravity go. When you've activated enough light in your body, gravity will go. And so all this weird stuff starts happening. That is a very important part of this process. Eventually we acclimate to this. So I can just go, oh, gravity just went, because I can walk around and do now. Because I can tell, and I'm not going through these things anymore. I can hear, see, feel everything simultaneously while I do 12,000 other things. But at first, you can't do anything. You have to surrender and let completely go and trust and know that what your body is going through right now is the most important thing, because it's your light activating. It's your light integrating inside of your body. Now, the cool part is, I'm going to explain this to make a point. Oh my God, I've got a ton of white birds. They're beautiful. Sorry. There's like 20 or 30 of them all just.
Wow.
The whole sky's turning crystalline and everything else. I'll have to show you.
Oh, that's awesome.
It is. I don't think you can see. See, I have no lines around my clouds. They're all soft. Okay, that's electromagnetic. Each cloud is different. So you have electromagnetics, you have crystalline, you have plasma, everything looks differently. When you surrender your body so it can do what it needs to do, it's more intelligent than our human is. Okay.
Starting to get
The
that.
body knows what it needs to do. The beauty is, as you embody this light, that light spans every dimension.
Yeah.
So when you embody this light, you span all those dimensions too. From inside of you, you have access to everything simultaneously. We don't procrastinate. We just get up and go do it. There's no making excuses. There's no, you see what needs to be done. You get up and you go accomplish it, and boom, new realities. Here they come.
Yeah.
Boom. You know,
back to bed.
Back to bed and wake up. And, you know, you have on a human level the things that you do. And then you have on a higher self the things that you do. And then on a soul level, we have all these different levels that we function from. When you hit avatar consciousness, then it's all of them. So it's quite a bit. And it's immense, the things that we have to accomplish and do all day, every day to maintain every physical reality and hold all these states of consciousness simultaneously and function too. So it takes a lot of rest. It takes a lot of alone time. It takes a lot of letting everybody and everything go that doesn't support your highest everything.
Yeah, that's right.
Because if it's not supporting, then you're the one compromising, and you're the one that's not in tune.
It's that respect question.
It's everything is about respect here. The deepest form of love is also the deepest form of respect.
Yeah.
And so what will clear karma is a lack of respect. The moment that there's a lack of respect, we say no, and you can clear the entire timeline right then. When you say no, you can clear it. Now, as we start being able to see down entire timelines, like eons, years, everything's vibrational. So the moment you come into contact with somebody, you can see all the possibilities, you can see all the purposes, you can see all the things that are available and what could be. The tricky part is that person might not be ready yet.
Right.
They might not be ready for all that you can see, which means they're not ready for your reality, but they're ready for all their realities. And you have to respect that and let them go play their realities out their way, which the human can't do. The human ego wants to hold on and judge and you know, they weren't ready yet. And, you know, I went through it too for years. I went through a lot of people along the way. We all play our roles out. You're clearing all those karmic timelines. You're serving higher purposes together. But there comes a point that you've cleared all of that, where everything is all done as pure source light, purity. And I mean, it's the very purest. There's no ego, not 1 ounce of it.
Yeah.
And it's not allowed to come into the picture. If it does, you call it out, you deal with it, you move through it, it's gone. We don't get hung up on it. We don't have any emotions about any of it. Nobody cares. It's
not erased. It's not erased. It just it was just a vehicle, so to speak. You know, almost like you could almost say the energetic vehicle until you woke up. I mean, that's all we knew.
Yeah,
I wanted to ask you. I wanted to ask you something. I want to keep talking about this, but I'm just curious. I'm really got to say this because I got to be authentic for myself.
I want to change your word because human's word is authentic, and I want you to change your word to genuine because you can feel the word.
Yeah, genuine's more like innocence to me. Yeah.
So go to genuine because it actually makes it more real. Go ahead.
Yeah, I like that. I want to be genuine and say that I want to ask you this question for my own purposes, but I'm certainly think it'll be helpful for everybody. What is your diet? I mean, at this point in the game, my body's giving me all kinds of crazy. Well, they're not crazy, but it's getting louder and louder. I see what's coming. I'm not stupid, so
every phase is different. Okay, so every phase is different, and we can be in all different phases simultaneously at the same time. Mine went through. You go through chunk. Okay, so here. All right, let me back up. We can be in all of them at the same time, but we can go through a phase for a couple years when we're prominently in that phase for a while, going through the DNA rewrites. Okay. So let's say up to the point that I started waking up, I was always in and out of all of these, but I didn't understand and I was unconscious, so my body couldn't process. Your body has to be able to process light, and the more emotions, the more egoic victim emotions that you have going on, your body can't process the light.
Gotcha.
Now that emotional pain will become physical pain when your light body activates. and is trying to activate, the physical body starts clearing an immense amount of excruciating pain for a lot of people. That's what was trapped in the cellular body. Okay, and it's all existences. It's not just this one. Don't get hung up on the stuff. You don't really care. I tell people, don't care. Just say clear, body clear, clear, clear. Give your body permission to clear. Get on board. Tell your body, okay, clear, clear, clear. When it comes up, don't suppress it. Don't repress it. Go all into it. Get it out of your body and keep moving. Allow for your body to process and integrate and clear and cleanse. Assist the body. It's the most important thing. We didn't have a clue how much was anchored in the body. Our entire physical reality out there is in our body.
Yes.
Okay. Now our field of consciousness can't fit into the body because there's so much crap inside. So you have to clear the body out so your field of consciousness, your light, can fit into your body, which is why the body expands. I don't know how else to explain this, Todd.
No, that makes total sense. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
As your field outside comes inside, then what was inside goes out. And eventually your physical body will change vibrationally to walk in completely different dimensions. And you can walk in all of them simultaneously. Sometimes when we first ascend, we can't see the third and the fourth dimension anymore for a while. And so then they will come back in and you'll be able to see them. But then it's a different part of the journey. Then it's to be in you have a roles to play here.
Yeah.
And stuff. And so that's a very different part of the process. It's about mastering the physical reality and bringing everything in your physical reality into alignment on a soul level yourself.
Yeah.
Every person, everything, your whole relationship, your job, everything has to be fully aligned. Nothing gets left out here.
Yeah.
Okay, so now to food. Food, for the physical body to drop density, for the physical body to integrate light, for the physical body to clear all of that emotional stuff, for physical body ascension to occur, it has to go completely clean. All green, live foods, the cleanest water that you can, get all the chemicals out, because the pineal gland has to open too, and our heart has to link up with Gaia's consciousness. Okay? Crystals, whatever you got to do, get your physical body vibration as high as you can, because it will be a much easier ride. Food, I actually had to do, because I was so chronic and had so many issues, and I was so deep asleep and deep beneath the veils, and my body was shutting down and my body was dying, literally. I went through organ failure, every organ, all of it, because I had so much stuff inside.
Wow.
When it was time for me to start to love and respect my body, I went clean. All of a sudden, you develop a new relationship with your body where you love and respect it, and you apologize for all the hell you put it through. You apologize, if you will, for not having a clue.
Yeah.
You start to understand the role that your body plays, and that your body was deep asleep. You have a consciousness of your body that has to wake up inside of the body, which is how your soul comes through you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, first I went clean, I detoxed, I got my body, you start exercising, some of the, I want to look good again comes back in, and that's part of the light body waking up. Then what will happen is, as we go through physical body ascension, then it's dark chocolate for the pineal gland. Okay. Lots of dark chocolate. Peanut butter is another one. That's a big deal. Years of peanut butter. I used to sleep with Reese's Pieces in my bed, bags of them. and then I went to organic, clean chocolate, and I slept with chocolate bars. And I used to, I would wake up covered in chocolate and freak out. Oh my God, didn't know what had happened to me, and realized I'd gone to sleep with the chocolate, because when photonic light hits you, it's the drooling energy. You can't function. I used to call it the crawl from room to room energies, because you can barely get up, make it to the bathroom, and then you're back out again.
Yeah.
You don't remember anything. It's heavy duty timeline clearing. It's heavy light anchoring. And we're about to come into that this next week. As soon as we pass through this eclipse, new moon, we're going to get jacked. Really.
Oh, yay.
Get ready. Every new moon, the whole week after, you're going to go through massive anchoring and pineal gland and crystals and all that kind of stuff. Now, when you're crystalline, when your light body kicks in, you don't need a lot of food, but dark chocolate and some of these odd things will come in. I cut coffee out for a while, and then I came back on coffee because it helped stimulate my brain so I could actually do all the linear processes and keep going each day.
Yeah.
But I went to clean organic coffee, everything organic, everything clean. And for all of those that say I can't afford it, it has to become our priority. The moment you make these things your priority, the money you need will come through.
Yes. Yeah.
And so when I made my light body my priority, when I made my soul my priority, when I made and I spent the money on myself, my soul, my light body, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I had enough money. It always, you know, that's where we start understanding is you don't compromise on a soul level ever again. Yeah. And your soul, that's why I wrote the piece I did the other day about, is your soul tangible? Because humans will only spend money on tangible things. And they don't understand your soul is the most tangible thing you have and the soul of everybody else. Yeah, humans don't respect each other. They don't respect the work they do. What they're going to understand is as time comes to 0 point field, they're going to run out of time. And all of a sudden, time, you become the commodity. Your energy becomes precious, and your energy is what creates, and your energy is what you put. Well, humans don't respect energy. They don't pay for energy. And they don't understand that energy is their soul. They don't respect their soul. They don't respect the souls of other people. And so this is all about respect. Every bit of this for each other on a soul level and ourselves. And if that deep sacred respect is missing, then our whole world's out of alignment. And so foods, when you hit the crystalline phase, it's all sugar, cupcakes, muffins, bread. And when I started seeing, I was able to actually, with my human eyes, see the crystals under my skin. And so I would go take videos of them and say, look, people, and put them up. But bread helps you weave the abundance cords inside of your body. And so all the people cutting out bread, I used to say, you're kind of screwing yourself. Okay. There are certain things our body needs. What it does is your light body will take what it needs from the thing that you eat, and then it'll chunk the rest or dump the rest.
Okay.
Okay. So where we used to urinate, drop in density, urinate, your body becomes self-sustaining. You'll stop urinating. Your body will produce its own liquids. The crystals in your body, you'll heat up, you'll cool down, you become like a nuclear reactor. It's bizarre and weird, but this is the multidimensional body, okay? We heat up, we cool down, it activates the crystals in our body. The crystals in our body turn us into computer processors where you can actually process a ridiculous amount of light data. Mm-hmm. You can see all the dimensions. You can see you read a field of consciousness. Everybody that walks around, everything is understood. Everything's visible. Humans aspects, third and fourth dimensional body transmits unconscious frequencies.
Yeah.
And those things scream and are really loud. Nobody has to say anything. Human calls it telepathic. It's more than telepathic. Okay. It's an electromagnetic field, a unified field of consciousness. And when you become the unified field of consciousness, then everybody's in your field.
Right.
And so you have to take great care in what you allow in your field, because now that transmission is going to affect your ability to function.
Yeah.
We have to synchronize to be able to stay in the same place for very long. It's a very different existence here. It takes a lot of work on our part. It takes a lot of consideration. It takes a lot of respect. It takes a lot of everybody being fully conscious to even coexist in the same realities here. Wow. Because if one person is unconscious, they're transmitting that out through the field, and it disrupts the entire field of consciousness. I have to tell everybody, go to the beach, go do something else before you come to my house. Don't bring your stuff up in my house. Because they don't understand that if they're chaotic inside, that chaotic energy is going out in every direction. And then
Complete darkness swallowed me whole, broken, beaten, can't take anymore. Body abused, alone, crazy, hiding scars, body parts. Rearranged, my child inside, completely gone. I beg for mercy, no more fight. Done, 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 I surrender. Karmic hold slowly releases, I lay still, silent. I can feel, help is on its way this time. I died, I came home, I am reborn. From a golden diamond string, her eyes so kind, her heart whole. She descended from the heavens, reaching, pulling a gift from source. She kisses my mouth, she holds out her hand, I take it. I'm ready to be free from suffering. I am ready to live, I am ready to heal, I am safe, I am love, I am soul, I am. Complete darkness swallowed me whole, broken, beaten, can't take anymore. Body abused, alone, crazy, hiding scars, body parts. Rearranged, my child inside, completely gone. I beg for mercy, no more fight. Done, 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 I surrender. Karmic hold slowly releases, I lay still, silent. I can feel, help is on its way this time. I died, I came home, I am reborn. From a golden diamond string, her eyes so kind, her heart whole. She descended from the heavens, reaching, pulling a gift from source. She kisses my mouth, she holds out her hand, I take it. I'm ready to be free from suffering. I am ready to live, I am ready to heal, I am safe, I am love, I am soul, I am.
Have a different view of what I thought God was, and for the first time in my life, I started feeling God was right here, the God within.
Right.
And my intuition just started kicking off, and...
Well, yes and no, because everything is always that, right? Mm-hmm. It is very important to clear your shadow selves, to heal your past and future aspects within you, so that you can run your energy and make room for more of your higher self to integrate into the body and to ground that energy into the planet. And when you do that, it goes into the collective consciousness stream, or the grid, where we're all connected. And that by doing your own clearing and making room and expansion to bring more of your higher self in and ground that source energy into the planet, it's going to help raise the vibration of this plane or the planet that we're on, and also help other people to have their triggers and awakenings happen, because they're going to, they can't help but receive that vibrational force that shakes things up within them and allows things to start coming into their reality. And it's basically a matter of living their life that does it, because it's unfolding in their reality. It's like when something unfolds in your day that really triggers you to bring up an emotion, that is a blessing. That's what's helping you see what needs to be cleared. And if it keeps coming up over and over again, you're either avoiding it, suppressing it, or there's some other nefarious thing going on in the fourth dimensional astral realm that's tied to you, that's pushing you to try to steal energy from you. So we could, I'm giving kind of vague answers in a way, because we could talk about this for days, as you know. But so I think besides clearing and transmuting, the next thing to make sure that you're doing is grounding the energies as you are connected to your higher self and source. It's not really higher self, oversoul, and source, but that's what I say because I need to wrap my mind around the levels of expansion that I am on another level. That's what I say, higher self, oversoul, and source. And embody that, be that, and speak those codes of higher vibration and love.
Right. Yeah, I love that. I love that.
As far as the conversation we had in a couple live videos before, there's a time to accept in alignment with the divine feminine energy, and there's a time to make decisions and in alignment with the divine masculine energies. However, once again, the balance of both is within one's presence and a sense of being, and a sense of allowance and openness to that which is being presented. From the intuition, there's infinite intelligence, and of course, infinite intelligence is a combination of both energies. It's more so about backing away and being the observer and using where you are in your spiritual maturity, if you will, to make the decisions as far as what moves to make and which energies to harness in that place of unity. So. Right on. Once again, the divine feminine is arriving in a major way during this transition. So let me digress for a second. It's arriving in a major way in this transition, in this now moment. And of course, throughout the linear experience, it's been neglected to a large degree amongst the societies of the human species. However, once again, it's still necessary to respect and embrace the divine masculine and feminine. It's just that a lot of souls are being presented with the opportunity to embrace the divine feminine energies on a broader scale and from a much more aligned sense of being based on their experiences. The divine masculine has been very powerful and dominant throughout the linear experience of humanity. However, many amongst this ascension path are being offered the opportunity to embrace the sense of strength, which comes with allowance, letting go, and releasing the attempts to be in control of circumstances and situations. When it comes to fear, a lot of the transitions that we're moving through now have all been about alignment and allowance, where there is no resistance to what is.
Did you feel that you, at this point in retrospect, made that healing occur by your belief, or do you feel it was something else?
I think purely by belief and intent, we make that happen within ourselves.
Hey y'all, Kate the Hardest. You know, sometimes I can be the hardest on myself. I woke up this morning just feeling some anxiety in my experiences of feeling so many different things calling my attention and my eyes on so many different balls in the air. I had to just kind of settle myself through my breath, taking the deep breaths, 5 counts in, holding it for 5 seconds, and then releasing it for 5 seconds, just to bring myself back into my heart center. In this really inspiring life that we're living, it can be feeling a bit of overwhelm sometimes. What do you do to bring yourself back into center so that you can start flying again? You see, my head is being pulled in so many different ways with my corporate experiences, my job. I just have so many expressions, thoughts, and feelings going through my head that I felt like I needed to pull into a station and just rest for a minute so that I could choose which direction I wanted to go next. When you're feeling like you're spinning out of control on the expression train of thought and feeling, it's really best to pause and pull into it station so that you can once again fly in ways that feel good to us. First, love yourself. FLY. You know, last night I was feeling the experience of creation and processing so much as my butterflies were coming into sight and vision. Katie the Hardest, the little 6-year-old inside of the storylines of Utopia and the whole E-Tales, she plays with words and butterflies in her world. And so I literally was working on that last night, making my butterfly, but you know, piece by piece. It's a step-by-step process to have your butterfly. You know, it's going to come together something like this. Butterflies in Utopia. Everything is magical and fun and playful, and you see things in new ways. And so I have to re-heart myself all the time when I'm being hard on myself to get hearter. I invite you to do the same. You know, my woolly funny new side stick, Wanda. Oh, hi Kate. I love you so much. I always tell you, start in the heart. It's the best part of you and me and everybody. She's so wise. I love Wanda. She's brought so much joy into my life in only the last week. I can hardly remember life without her. It's like she's been a part of me all along. I have been. You are talking to yourself, Kate. Hello. Hey, will somebody please tell her that she's talking to herself and using a stick to make it look differently? Cray cray. I think she's a little nutty. Who in the world has butter flying? I don't know. I think she's out of her mind. I am Wanda. You taught me and re-hearted me to get out of my mind and into my heart so that I can slow down and enjoy this life that I'm living and being a part of. May we each find ways to find ourselves peaceful and at rest so that we can enjoy the very best that life has to offer in this grand adventure that is our life. One step at a time, over time, we create realities that in reflection were first only thoughts and figments of our imagination. I wonder, in the future, in these steps that I took last night, to have Paul, and Patty, pads of butter, you know, coming into being. Oh, everything's going to be okay. Now I'm off to do some more mundane things. I'll find ways to get through them, one step at a time. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being a part of this journey with me as we're each creating our very best lives. I love you.
Okay, having a little fun this morning. We've been going for a while. We've been going for an hour, exactly an hour, right when that ended. That was Kate Lumley. We had Teddy, my brother, from St. Louis. He was on. Michelle Wyman, Lavelle Zimmerman, Angie Love, Lisa Transcendence Brown, Mary Rodwell, Shakina Rose, Maureen Moss. Yeah, you know, it's interesting being in the studio and going through all these different hours and hours and hours of Soulogy tapes and files, videos, and also downloading other people's. I've been doing that for years, and then being in the space that we're in right now. And every day, it just seems to me, I wake up and I say, you know what? Nobody knows anything. But so the only thing to do now, if nobody knows anything, is to create. You know? I love some of these expressions in this first hour of the videos we played, you know, people just being real. You know, even Lisa Transcendence Brown talking about being knocked on her ass, talked about being in a drooling state and crawling to the bathroom. And you know, one way or the other, we've all had this happen. We're all having this happen energetically. There's nothing personal between any of us. And, you know, all the comforts, discomforts of the human experience that are actually the huge gold from a soul level. The soul thanks us every day for what we're doing. It's the, as most people say that look into the universal that way, it's the toughest planet to come on. So what's left to do? Just create. We can't really do much about the distant future or even the near future. We can do something in the present. We can just put our heart out there in just the different ways that we do. So, you know, I've been working on this stuff for years. I actually sat in the car this morning. I said, you know, I think it's time to walk away. And then my soul came in and said, no, you know, everything's good on the other side of all the veils, and everything's good here. And the only way to bring it in is to do what you know you came here to do. And I think a lot of people are getting that call. But in the process of that, we're all going through a lot of stuff. And we need to be with ourselves as much as possible. We're getting to know ourselves again. And when we get to know ourselves again, we'll get to know each other. So, yeah, I'm just in the space of trying to be present and share and try to bring people together and build community and collaboration and co-creation. Let's put on some music. We'll see what we got going here. See what I can find. I'm going to pull one of these old ones up. Let's see here. I have my glasses on and I still can't see. Here we go. Yeah, I like this one. I used to like to play this one. All right. See how the sound is. It's kind of loud. Test, test, test. Oh, maybe not. This music's by a guy named Kai Engel, and he's pretty incredible. I discovered him when I started making music videos. He's out of Germany. It's kind of all over the place. He's got some great original sounds. Let me turn that down just a little bit. I was thinking back to 10 years ago, which was obviously 2012. And I know we all didn't have all of our experiences at the same time. But I remember 10 years ago, and I think if you look back at your life 10 years ago, regardless of when you think you woke up, you have changed, I have changed a lot, this world's changed a lot, and it's very obvious that there's this non-physical part of us that's coming into play from the human perspective. Like I said a while ago, I don't think anybody knows anything. I think that's how we get back to nothing. There's certain things that are coming in for everybody, and I think it's important to share them, because when we share them, then we have some contrast with our own beliefs. And I feel like when we share, that's part of our new consciousness, is to share. It's just to be totally transparent to the best of our abilities, because none of us could do it instantly. it's a little bit at a time, but transparency, it's a powerful, powerful thing. I think one of the biggest challenges, people talk about at the end of the day, the biggest fear we have is the fear of our own power. But I think one of the other big challenges is to understand that we're not going anywhere. We talk about embodying and anchoring, and we're doing it from the level of the consciousness of the body, all the consciousnesses. Hang on a second. Hello.
Hey, I'll be right there.
What do you mean?
Excuse me?
What do you mean?
I thought I was taking you to lunch.
All right, let's go, man. I'm doing the show right now. We're having this conversation live on the radio.
Oh.
It's Tim
See
Smith.
you in a minute.
All right, come on in. Just having a little fun. Yeah, I'm going to try to keep coming on here. It helps me, and hopefully it helps other people. I mean, I used to do spirit walks. That was the point of it, and everything's what it is, and it's just nice to be in the same field of consciousness or circle of life or vortex or portal or whatever you want to call it, and to encourage people to come on and do the same thing. And so yeah, I'll just be popping on a lot, and of course we're doing shows. We're getting the Soul Speaks 5D shows. We got one today. I think we got 2 or 3 on Friday. And we're just going to broadcast as much as we can. Just broadcast, and have open mic periods, and maybe we can even put a little schedule out when I put the videos together. But we always jump in, and the schedule could change. I'm going to put on some videos. Tim Smith's coming over in a bit. Have some lunch with him, and then I'm just going to leave the tape rolling. And when I come back, we'll do an open mic, something like that. Yeah, I see some people saying, what's your email? How can I come on and stuff? And you can email to soulogynetwork@gmail.com. That's probably the best thing to do, although I don't know which way is the best. You can try messaging me on Facebook. And for all the people that, I've said I'm going to get to and I'm trying to get to, I mean, it's happening slowly but surely. It's very, very hard to schedule anything too far out. For me, it is anyway right now. I'm just feeling my way into it. My guidance is just to take baby steps through the end of November, slightly building up and expanding, just very deliberately and steadily, and then hit it in December. So I'm just going to follow that guidance unless something changes. But anyway, in the process, we'll be scheduling more and more, and we'll get to everybody. It might take a while. We just scheduled a lady for Friday that wrote 6 months ago. So there's not really a science to it. But anyway, thank you for your patience and all that stuff. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, you like the Lisa clips? Well, we can go back to the Lisa clip if y'all want to. Let me see how much time is on that. There was still probably an hour. Where the hell is it? There it is. Let me just get some stuff out of the way. Boom. Boom. Yeah, because, let's see. Get that out of the way. One of these days I'll become an adept Soulogy DJ. Let's see. Let me get rid of this one. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll put on the rest of Lisa Transcendence Brown, which I think is probably another hour. And then there's a nice clip, a 9-minute clip from Judith Kuzel that's pretty new too. So I'm going to play that, play a little music from Universal Brothers and Sisters Circle, Lavelle Zimmerman and the Crew, a real cool song called Blast Off. And then a really special thing, which will probably be like 2 hours from now. It was a gathering we did here in Sedona in 2019 where Shekinah Rose was here and Romeo Barron, and they did an impromptu divine union, without even knowing it, divine union frequency collaboration. It was just absolutely incredible. I'm going to be playing that over the next few days. It's really powerful. And then if I'm still not back by then, there's one of the last, I think, the last interview in Sedona with Franco in the studio but I'll be back by then. So, all right. Let's see. Soulogy Productions at Gmail. No, that's not it. It's Soulogy Network at gmail.com. Okay. All right. We'll talk to y'all later. Thank you for your continued love, support, and contributions. Allow us to keep doing this each and every day.
Fears. And then we have to overcompensate.
Yeah.
And so there's this whole thing of being able to function through the unified field of consciousness as a unified field. Well, what you start understanding is that the other person isn't unified inside. There's no unity inside. They're in chaos. They're in duality. They're playing out all this stuff and they're transmitting that out, and it disrupts the field. For being productive, for being accomplishing, you have to cut all that stuff out.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Back to foods. Crystalline is sugars and muffins and live food one day, and the next minute you're completely famished and you're starving. Your sugar will drop. You can't eat enough right then. Then all of a sudden you can't eat that anymore, and then cosmic rays kick in, and then all of a sudden you're nauseous because the cosmic rays kicked in, and you can't eat that food. When cosmic rays kick in, you can't eat live foods. You can only eat carbohydrates and starches. Okay? Your body is basically killing off the old programming. Literally, your light is going through your body, and I call it seek and destroy. Your light obliterates the old programming. It's cosmic rays, it's radioactive. And so these radioactive rays are being emitted on a photonic level from your cells. And they are obliterating the old programming, and you'll get sick and nauseous when you're going through cosmic, photonic, radioactive energies emitting from your body, killing off all of this stuff. And you will not be able to eat live food during that time. And it can be days. Anytime I go through the new moon, I know I'm going to be eating. You're famished, you eat, but you don't gain any weight. Your body's taking everything it needs from this food and it's discarding the rest. Because we're eating all live, a lot of the times your body doesn't have the waste anymore. So how your body functions completely changes. It's breaking food down and using it. It becomes like light cells, storage. You become like a solar panel. You literally store light in your cellular body, which is why it gets bigger, so you can function on light. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, I'm digging it.
Plasma energy is salt and potato chips.
I'm loving it.
It's nothing like it was before. All the old belief systems have to be chunked out the window. Everything you thought, it's not going to play out here. What's going to happen is you're going to ask your body, what does it want? It's going to tell you what it wants. If it's craving blueberries, then you need a buttload. Sometimes I lived on blueberries. And it, all these things feed a different part of the body. And when I was expanding really fast, my body would heat up and it would burn. Your skin changes, your color tones change, everything changes about your body.
Now you said, did you say that these can occur simultaneously? Or, not one after the other necessarily, because some of these things
all the time. But then what will happen is, let's say that, so I'll use mine as an example. Once I went to physical body ascension, then my light body operating on gamma frequencies, I had gotten up, and it's like, get up each day and go to work. Get up each day, actually go take a shower, put your clothes on, and get yourself in the mindset. You have to get your whole body on board with producing. And it's get up, develop the courses, step into all your fears, because it's time to start getting yourself out there. When you start moving into becoming the whole universe, it's time to start doing a lot of these things if we haven't before. Okay. Once I got the groundwork laid, because you're laying a whole new foundation for realities, all built upon new earth energies, which is love, respect, unity, kindness, compassion, sharing, generosity, a huge one to break the root chakra ego stuff. Okay. And so while you're going through all of this, then your crystalline will be activating all along the way. But once I completed, I'm using words to make a point.
Yes.
my initial light body phase of about a year, I don't know, year and a half of produce, write, do for everybody, do, mass consciousness, get up, do the sessions in the middle of the night, get up. Because what happens is you don't have time. You don't adhere to time anymore. So my universe would wake my little human up and tell me to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning and write for people on the other side of the world. Well, my human will be complaining, are you serious? I want to sleep. And it's like, no, get up.
Yeah.
Because I had things to do. Because you become a universal being that isn't bound by human linear time anymore. And in order to do that, you have to let the constraints of time go. And so I actually had to get up and work all the way around the clock to break the clock cycle. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Once I was willing to work, then I didn't have to get up in the middle of the night anymore, but I did have to do that for a few years. Once you get the certain things, the groundwork for certain things laid, then your crystalline will kick in. Once you've held an ascended state of consciousness long enough, then your crystalline phase is going to kick in, because the things that you have created, they're going to start to support you now.
Yeah.
The things you've created are now going to start to support you. So you actually will kick back and sleep a little bit more again, because you're integrating a ridiculous amount of light again for your crystalline light body to come online. And that's what brings everybody online with crystalline New Earth.
All right.
Okay. Then once we complete that cycle, which took me a few years, I think every cycle for me was 1.5 to 2 years. Then once I came through that, because your body has to restore itself back to the original template. And so you have to go through clearing all your distortions. You know, a lot of people don't like the fact that, when the celibacy thing comes in. But that's a part of the process too, for our template to restore itself to original programming. You can't crisscross your DNA.
Yeah, I can vouch for that. 4.5 years.
Yeah. And so being restored back to original template, which means you don't carry the distortions anymore. You're aware of them. They can still appear, but they don't play out. It's like, no.
Yeah, that's what I love about what you said even earlier, because as much as you've experienced and much as you've ascended, I mean, whatever you want to call it, you don't erase the what you call human. It doesn't go away. It's still there. It's part of the team.
It's a very small part of who you are, though.
Yes,
It's still there.
Yeah.
You will always have an ego. The only difference is it doesn't run the show anymore. You're aware that it's there, but it's so small, you rarely ever see it or hear from it. Only when we hit high distortion time. Okay, so all right, let me go back. When we hit high photon activity, the purpose of the high photonic activity, one of the purposes, because there's a bazillion of these, is to exacerbate distortions so you can hear, see, feel them and clear them yourself.
Yes. Yeah.
And so it assists us with bringing everything into full consciousness by saying, no, you have to choose. That's the part everybody says free will. Well, they don't understand free will. That's like the ego running around going free will. It has no clue what free will is. Okay. Free will means that you're going to choose how you're going to do the journey, comfortable or uncomfortable, suffering or on board.
I love this.
Okay. That's the only part of free will we get. Every bit of this was predetermined before ever walking in here. And once you can see the whole picture, once all that opens up, then you don't need free will anymore, because you're so fully aligned and unified inside. There's no questions anymore. The only person that needs free will is the ego. Yeah. Because it doesn't want to suffer. Notice how backwards everything is?
Yeah.
That's right. The ego will avoid every bit of this at all cost. Consciousness is a threat to the ego. Everything is a threat to the ego. And so what you start to understand, and that's a part of the nervous system, every light body, we have different levels of the light body, not a better than somebody else type thing. Okay. It's an evolutionary process of holding light, period. Okay. When we hit a certain level of consciousness within ourselves, then we enter into the next phase of evolution as pure source light with our physical body. And it's a part of the embodiment process. Avatar consciousness is an immense part. It's where the keys of the kingdom are granted. It's where every moment you walk in is heaven on earth. You don't experience any of the other stuff anymore. If it does, it's very short-lived, and you deal with it and you move through it and you move on.
Yeah.
You let go of reality right then. Gone.
Yeah.
We close every timeline out ourselves. We close them out on purpose, because the moment you close out the old distorted timelines, the new ones open up.
Yeah.
And so you start understanding how this works, and it becomes really easy, because you're no longer willing to compromise. You're not willing to suffer. You're not willing to do without. You're not willing to play in the old games. We don't allow judgment. We don't get caught up in what other people are doing. We don't care what everybody else does.
That's right.
You're here to manage yourself.
Yeah.
You're here to observe as your higher self. You're going to observe your human, and you're going to say, no, human, you don't get to run the show anymore. Nope.
Yeah.
And you just say no. That pretty much ends it. The only thing that on a human level, the human can't say no. It will succumb to the old stuff. It will give in. It will compromise. And that's where all the anger comes from, is because anger is compromise.
Yeah.
And so when you stop compromising, you don't have to get angry anymore.
So really, it's a no, and there's nothing to talk about. It's just no. And
Well, okay. So now let's take it to the next level.
Yeah.
If we are the conscious one, then it depends on so hold on, let me word this a couple ways. If we're the conscious one, we have the capability. Conscious means your heart is open and your mind is open and you care.
Yes.
Okay. You're considerate, you're respectful, you're kind. You're willing to bring that whole reality into consciousness now.
Yeah.
Which means having a conversation. There's no ego, so it's not against the other person, it's for everybody.
Right.
It's for all of us. It's because we love each other so deeply on a soul level. It's because our relationships are pure.
Yes.
And so from this place in this space, we can talk about anything.
Yeah.
But if you have a human ego involved, it gets his feelings hurt. It doesn't want to hear it. There's resistance going on. There's imposing, there's projecting, there's all this stuff going on.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say it this way just to make a point. Our level of consciousness will dictate how easy bringing it into full consciousness is going to be.
Yeah.
Because if we were unconscious before and we called forth a really strong duality reality, and duality just means there's a lack of love and respect there.
Yeah.
There's a lack of integrity. And integrity is on a soul level. It's not a human one. They're very different levels of integrity. Respect is a different level of respect. Okay? So what will happen is that if we are being kind and loving to ourselves, we're able to be kind and loving to everybody else. If we are respecting ourselves, we can be respectful to everybody else. But if we have allowed for disrespect, if we have an emotion going on, then we have to pull away until all of that is gone. And then we can come together and we can work through things. Now, the more crystalline, the more plasma, the more light we hold. I'm just using words here to make a point. The easier this is, and the faster it is too, because the more crystalline our body, the faster we process light, which means we don't have the delay that the human does anymore. So the human aspect, the dense physical body going from carbon-based to crystalline, carbon-based to silicone, carbon-based to all these different bodies that we have. Plasma, okay?
Yeah.
The dense human body takes days and weeks and months to clear that emotion. We don't, because we've cleared it from our body. We just move the emotion out and then we work together. We don't have, it doesn't take a long time. You know, if I have something big hit, I might take a day or two. And I won't go back and respond, or I won't go have that conversation until I've cleared all of that emotion.
Until you're ready.
Side of me, and then I will come together, and I will always bring it into a higher state of consciousness. It will always be about our relationship and how much we care about each other. It will always be on a soul level. It will not be about what the human did. It will be about, and this is the cool part, Todd, it's no longer about what they did. It's what's acceptable right now. You let go of what they did. It's what you're going to tolerate and allow. Yeah. Now you determine, each one of us determine what's acceptable. And what is acceptable is what is aligned. And if it's not aligned, it's not acceptable.
That's right.
Any given shape or time. The reason being is the moment you allow it and you go back into that consciousness, your body transmits a different coordinate and it actually carries your body back to that dimension.
Yeah, I'm digging it.
I have to say it different ways to make a point.
No, you're right. And you know, what's interesting is right up, I'd say, and you've seen this before, where you would have, like in the light worker circles, these, I don't want to know what we would call it, but just this projection. And
there's all kinds of stuff going on. Dude.
Right.
Let me tell you.
I know, right? I know, right?
You just let them all, you let everybody go play that stuff out. You focus your energy and you go do what's important. Let them all hash it out. This year, my universe said, let them all hash it out. Don't even worry about it. Yep.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. And that's what I love about what you're saying, because, you know, people might look at you and say, oh my God, she's got, you know, but you still are dealing with it. But the process is totally different. The place you're at is totally different. But there was like a 2-3 week period right before that eclipse, that blood moon eclipse. And it just got really loud, and everybody's like, well, WTF, you know? And I was just like, hey, I mean, I'm sure there seemed to be more clarity after it happened. And then you started seeing people, very recently, several people wrote about it, about that self-awareness, self-consciousness, this self-judgment, you know, it's like coming to a head, and how it doesn't belong.
Self-consciousness, though. I go back to what you just said, self-consciousness. I want you to look at it from two different, that word has dual meaning.
Yeah, I just got that. It's double entendre there.
You have self-consciousness on an ego level, and you have self-consciousness as a higher self.
Yeah, it's in conscious,
And one is conscious of yourself.
Yeah, you're right about that.
It has different meanings, and pretty much everything has different meanings here. Yes, what's going to happen is we are in photonic realities now. Everything is photons.
Okay.
Everything. So if you will watch, and there are some people who will go post the reports. I listen to them. I hear them. I see them. I you know, what I write for you guys is what I hear, see, feel. I'm aware of them. I don't need to go look up anything. I hear gamma. Okay, gamma just activated. Okay, we just went plasma. There go diamond light codes. There goes the rainbow frequencies, you know, because you become the whole cosmos inside. And your whole inside, those cosmic frequencies replace human thoughts. The more you clear those distortions, the less human ego thoughts you have. And it all is replaced with cosmic frequencies. It's a symphony 24 hours a day. Those frequencies tune your light body.
Like an instrument.
Yes.
Wow.
I could not function without my frequencies. I would be lost. And when I moved over to New Earth with my full body, because you're constantly going back and forth for a while. When I woke up one morning and I got in the shower, and in the shower, because everything happens in the bathroom. In the shower, the words are, "You're on New Earth." Well, I'm standing in the shitty shower going, what? You know, paint peeling off, and it's a and there's a crack coming through, and I'm watching the little spider, and I'm going, I'm standing in the shitty shower, and I'm on New Earth. Your mind can't comprehend. Because what happens is we first come through and have access to New Earth. We haven't cleared all of our lack.
Right.
Now it's time to consciously clear your lack programming, and everywhere you compromised and where you believe the physical reality first. Now you start standing in your mastery. Now your consciousness dictates the physical, and the physical matter will actually realign according to your consciousness. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay. And so now it's about focusing your consciousness. You can take your consciousness anywhere you want to if you're completely in tune, and you can activate any reality. You can open portals, you can go through them, you can walk through them. It's absolutely freaking amazing. But you can't do this if you're in your linear head, discounting the whole thing and defending yourself against consciousness.
Yeah, I surrender. I love what you said earlier. A great analogy was when you said when it comes up and you clear it, you're resetting. Your coordinates are being reset. And we're talking,
you're changing coordinates with your body. Literally, your body actually transmits the coordinates for the dimension that your physical body occupies.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you are very aware of this, we lost him. Dude. Hey, everybody.
Can you hear me all right?
Give me something.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
You popped out.
Dude. Oh, can you hear me?
Yes, you're back in a different dimension now. You had to leave that dimension and come into this one.
Well, if I told you what was happening over here, but when you were talking earlier, God, I'm gonna have to go listen to I'll put it in the comments I'll go back and edit it and look at it.
No, just stop.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Close your eyes.
Yes.
Go inside and tell it to come forth again, and it'll come forth.
Oh, yeah. How do you put that into words?
You don't. You'll learn how.
Yeah. So
you can access anything by closing your eyes and going inside. You can recall a moment. And I'm going to say this really quick because it's kind of cool. When I started understanding way back when that I could actually create visual imprints of reality so I could recall them. When you're shifting dimensions so quickly, you can't remember the previous dimension for a while. You can't remember anything. It's gone. I used to write myself I called them messages in a bottle. I would write myself a message so I could, when I get up the next day, I could remember what I needed to tell myself. So we do all these weird things for a while. Your body template will wipe your whole template, and everything goes. Time goes. Everything goes. Your memories go. Everything gets wiped. Your entire Akash will clear. Then, once we've gone through a part of the process, you'll access a new level of Akash. So we have an Akashic record in every one of our existences that we have to clear. So doing universal Akash or human Akash versus a cosmic Akash, or you have the Lemurian, Atlantean timelines. We have, the Egyptian. We have all these different Akashas that we have to clear, and they're all inside of our body.
Yeah.
It's all the distortions that have to be cleared. Everything has to be pure. Our entire existence has to be completely pure, which is what this is about. We're returning to Lemurian consciousness. We're returning to a galactic consciousness, which is pure. We return to God consciousness without the ego.
Yeah.
We return. This is a returning to consciousness. And what will happen is you will activate that consciousness inside of your body. But then it opens up a portal, a gateway, an initiation process that we will go through until we complete every initiation to achieve the embodiment of that consciousness, which can take years.
Yeah.
And so activating a consciousness, a lot of people think just because they activated the consciousness, they embody the consciousness. That's not how this works. You activate the consciousness to become aware of it, but then you're going to go through a passageway to clear everything that isn't of that consciousness within you. And it's a massive process. And every consciousness, so when you start activating all your galactic aspects, every one of them have distortions too. You have to clear all of those.
Oh, wow.
Syrian, it's massive. Syrian, Lyran, Lemurian, Atlantean, Egyptian, the list can go on and on. Sorry about that.
Yes, I saw, I love it. I saw that at the end of that. At the end of that article you wrote about the codes coming in, I wrote down three words. The three words I wrote down were anchoring, full integration is kind of what you're talking about, and then application. But at the end of that, you listed a bunch of the different types of codes that were coming in, and I was
Yeah.
I was really pleased to see, because I'd never seen somebody put it that way, but it was all the galactic, and it was also the Earth prior civilizations and that type of thing.
It's all of them. And see, what we don't understand is that it's all a frequency. Okay, light codes are just frequencies and tones. They're colors. So the cosmic rays, they're sound frequencies, which is how the harmonics are created.
Yeah.
They're harmonizing frequencies. When we say that we are in a harmonic realignment, that means that all the frequencies have to be realigned. Everything's got to be realigned on a higher frequency than it was before.
Yeah.
And so timeline jumping it is just a convergence of all timelines into this space. And when you collapse all timelines into this space and function from this space right here, and you apply that higher state of consciousness to how you live your life, you can collapse all timelines. And then everything that was off in those other times, everything that was unachievable, everything you desire, it all comes right here. It's right here. This is where you function from, though, here. And to be able to maintain all these light codes, are every light code. They just have a different energy signature, if you will.
Yeah.
And so Syrian is your no BS, no nonsense. Step up, get your shit together. No more playing the games. Get yourself out there, step into your fears. Your Syrian is going to push you. Get up.
Yeah.
Okay. Whereas Arcturian is the purest form of love. And the beauty of the ninth dimensional template that we just completed anchoring in Gaia. Now, what this is going to do is it's going to push the lower dimensional realms harder, though, which means that each person needs to clear those lower dimensions inside of their body, within their own self, to have an easier ride. Because what happens is the higher we go, the more the lower ceases to exist.
Yeah.
And so if you're hanging on to the old, you get drugged through it.
Yeah.
So,
can be in your face.
Ninth dimension, though, is relative to Arcturian frequencies, but they're all always available. It's just that the beauty of the ninth dimensional template means that we get to actually interact with each other on an Arcturian level and above now. Syrian, and I don't like the levels and the numbers, but I do it because it gives a reference point. Because the human will get all into this competition mode when technically it doesn't matter.
Right.
It's more making everybody aware so that we can understand how high we're going, so that we can understand what we're actually doing here. It brings validity to something. And the fact that we just I had no clue we were hitting a ninth dimensional template. I knew that we were working on it. I knew that we've been doing this, but I never really pay any attention to it until it comes into my face and it's time for me to share it with other people, which means that I've accomplished it within myself along with Gaia as a gatekeeper. Okay. And so when we woke up, the week before, I heard 9 codes dial. Because I can hear the Stargate codes as they dial, and you can hear them being released. And I went online, I'm like, okay, we had like 9 codes or more released, and it like no big deal. Well, the whole next week, we're going through this massive regridding process and stuff. And I wake up and I see the 9 again. I'm like, 9? Why am I seeing 9 again? And again, it was ninth dimensional template. But because what happens is when it first comes through, you only get to see a part of the picture. I won't rush to say anything to anybody until I have the whole picture.
Right.
There's no reason. That's all ego. When I have the whole picture, when I understand the process, then I'll go write it for everybody and share it. The fact that we hit ninth dimensional template about a year ago, I made the comment, no more, for my own physical reality. And I'm like, universe, nobody less than a ninth dimension anymore in my world. Because I need those people who are coming from that place of pure love within themselves. I need those people if we're going to accomplish the things we came here to do. And so I'm like, no more. Ninth dimension only in my reality. And the cool part is that anchoring the ninth dimensional template in means that we now get to interact with ninth dimensional template beings.
Yeah.
Okay. But most people don't understand we are the galactic councils here. When we first start waking up, we're standing in front of a council. And we have to grow up. We have to become, that's part of the embodiment process, is we end up being the guardians. We end up being the ancients. We end up being the about a year ago, I think the word was unified council of light, which was a new one for me. And it's just pure love. And then I start seeing that all of us, the unified council of light, and everybody walking around, and now we actually get to reconnect with each other. We're the star beings in the body who have grown up to be responsible guardians of this earth.
Yeah.
We are the embodied council members here to reconnect, because we're the councils, all of us.
Yeah.
In form, but we all have to get through our human stuff in order to fulfill these roles.
Yeah.
So, which is the purpose, is to move through that human stuff as fast as you can, clear it out so you can fulfill your highest purposes too. I mean, they bring ease, they bring joy. I mean, these frequencies have been nothing but magnificent. 24 hours a day. And the other night I posted, oh, they're coming in really easy. People were like, you call this easy? Well, where apparently it's beating other people to death, but I went through those for my years. Now they're just soft and beautiful 24 hours a day in my frequency bandwidth where my body's located. Does that make sense?
Yes, it makes sense.
There's no harshness. There's no roughness. It's just pure beauty. It's just, it just is. And so, but in order for each one of us to achieve this ourselves, we have to go deep inside and we have to see our own stuff and clear it out and let go of the judgment about it all. Yeah. Let go of it doesn't matter what somebody else is doing.
And the braggadocio. And the braggadocious aspect, where, because you get stuff like you made me realize something today.
What's that?
I know when things activate, and Morgan always says it takes 1 to 5 days for the brain to catch up. But we had experiences where we had visual materialization of star family or whatever. Mm-hmm. A couple of them went into my body, which I understood were my aspects coming into me. But what you said was, you don't get it the day it comes in. You have to embody it, right? That's what
you have to go through every moment from that point forward is you going through clearing distortions until you are that being with every breath.
Yeah.
And every moment you breathe being that aspect, and all of the ego constructs have to go. All of the lack. See, we didn't know how deeply ingrained in our body our ego was. When we hit the plasmic frequencies, then all the pain and the teeth and the bones start. Okay? That's a different part of the process, because these light codes, they actually go into your muscles and your bones.
Yeah.
Okay, they go into your blood, the crystals, muscles, bones, and every part of your body represents a different part of the system for new earth or old. And so your liver, your kidneys, your organs, your eyes, your pineal gland, all of these body parts become an intricate system that works together cohesively once the separation inside is gone.
Yeah.
And so every part of the body has to be completely reworked. We need a ridiculous amount of sun. Yeah. We need a ridiculous amount of certain things. Foods support the light body. Foods support the crystalline, but they're going to be different all along the way. You will cut out certain things that don't support your body anymore. Milk products, go. There are certain things you don't put back in your body because they actually interfere with your light's ability to communicate. You are a walking, living DNA. Your DNA is communicating with you and talking to you 24 hours a day. You'll never get bored ever again. But all of this intelligence is inside of you in your body.
Yes.
And it communicates 24 hours a day. And if you're really in tune and listening to your body, all the knowledge you need is right there.
Yeah.
And that's where we have to start sharing the knowledge, sharing the information, sharing. That's a part of unity consciousness, or we clear our abundance as we learn to share.
Yeah.
Abundance issues. Okay. And so unity consciousness is each person stepping up and uniting and sharing and supporting, no longer from a place of lack or need, because we care.
Right.
And not because we care because, oh, poor pitiful anybody. That's all ego constructs.
That's right.
We care because we're that deeply connected on a soul level. Yeah. Now, the tricky part is that you can be that deeply connected on a soul level and still watch the human in front of you and see they're deep asleep.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the awareness and the understanding for what role you play here. When you become a higher self, you become everybody else's higher self too. But the ego wants to get involved in their business, and we don't interfere. We create opportunity. We open portals. We lead the way. We show the way. We're the way showers and all that kind of thing. We open the portal and leave it floating, and we walk away and we go on and do 12,000 other billion things. And we let them walk through and they're ready.
It's like planting the seeds.
When you become the universe, you become everybody's universe in a way. And it's called being a universal surrogate for a while. And you're okay with being the teacher. You're okay with being the one that shares the consciousness. But eventually it will become heavy, because if the other person isn't stepping into their own power, then your field is carrying them, and your body will start to suffer for after a while.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have to learn to understand how you are able to affect reality through your consciousness. So like when I did the retreat last year, I went to the hotel. I can take my consciousness and create an energetic grid of the whole place and elevate the consciousness of the whole place. I can hold that whole place in that higher timeline while everybody is there. And the day that I finished the retreat, I collapsed the entire thing, because I'm holding that in place, unit, that Christ consciousness. I'm holding that with my body.
Mm-hmm.
And so your body can only hold those levels of consciousness. Oops.
We're good.
Go ahead. Your body holds a ridiculous amount of light. Your body is the conduit, basically, for holding the vibration of your whole field of consciousness in place. And so if you're compromising and not honoring your body, you can't hold that consciousness. And so your body becomes number one. So there's a lot of rest. There's a lot of sleep. For me, I learned how to work from bed. There are days when your spine, so when you go fully quantum, everything's from your spine. Yeah. And so you'll activate Kundalini. You have different Kundalini awakenings for clearing distortions and all that kind of stuff. For me, my spine is my entire communication center. And so when my body is being upgraded, it's in my spine. Well, you can't sit up straight and do linear processes when your body's going quantum. So you can't sit at a desk. You can't even do physical work until the quantum work is complete and your body can function linearly again.
Makes sense.
And so when your body has integrated all that light and your field and your body have synchronized, then you'll wake up and you'll have plenty of energy. But this is the trick. You have to focus your energy on what's important and getting those things done, because the moment your light body starts tuning again, your body's going to go kaput and your brain's going to go kaput too. And so you have to utilize your energy. You have to respect your energy. And your energy has to accomplish, that's creator energy, source creator. You are accomplishing 24 hours a day. But it's not from a I have to, it's from a I agreed to. It's a sacred place of honor.
Yeah.
You're honoring your agreements that you made before you ever came here, and you're fulfilling those highest purposes roles. And we moved out of higher consciousness into highest years ago.
Yeah.
So it's no longer just a little, let me be a little more conscious. No, you got to go full blown wide open. Yeah.
It's all or nothing.
It's
It's alignment of all of your mission from your heart, service.
When you are fully connected inside, you are your higher self.
Yeah. When
you are fully connected inside and there isn't 1 ounce of ego, you are emitting pure source light.
Wow.
When you are fully connected inside and you don't separate off anymore, and you don't go small, and you don't bring your distortions into play, and you don't go unconscious, then your physical body is recoding itself so it can enter into a higher dimensional frequency, and it's dropping the density, the programming, all of that, all of the words that we use. You tie all the words together, but you have to throw out every word of being a victim. Yeah. All the I can't, or I'm not good enough, and because it's all a story, it's all a lie we told ourselves. Yeah. And it has nothing to do with that out there. That out there, okay. That out there is a solid hologram.
Yeah.
That hologram you walk in, that virtual reality you walk in, becomes solid because you believed it into reality.
Yeah.
So what happens is when you start opening up the higher dimensional realms inside of you, you start having new beliefs. You start having new desires, but they're not sexual, and they're not lack and need. Your root chakra cleanses itself, and that's where your drive on a soul level comes from. So it's a pure place, and it'll cycle up and down the spinal column, up and down and up and down and up and down. And when you're ascending, you'll be floating around up here outside your head.
Yeah.
You'll have this expanded state of consciousness, and then what will happen is as we ascend and float around for a while, we disconnect from everything of the lower dimensions. And as you are disconnecting from all of the lower dimensions, you are becoming your higher self, and then you descend that into your body, which is where unification starts to occur. And while you're doing that, you're pulling your body into a higher dimensional realm. While you're in that, I've seen so many people, so, we don't ground, we float and we fly on purpose. You have to completely connect from the lower dimensional realms if you're going to pull your body into a higher dimension. Otherwise, you're going to wait until it happens for you, and that's the rougher ride.
Yeah, I won't do that. Let's surrender.
Right. Surrender. This is a continual surrendered state, 24 hours a day. Your body says, I'm tired, you go lay down. Whether you sleep for 3 minutes or 3 hours, all you're doing is your pineal gland is trying to open and release light codes, and you'll feel poof.
Yeah.
And then the neural pathways will have photonic light zooming through them. You will have photonic light emitting from your cells. It gets weird and bizarre. Go ahead. Sorry, Todd.
Yeah. No, I was just going to say, it's becoming more and more obvious. I'm glad you've talked about this, about the body, because we saw this body as something that was, finite, but the truth is it's the command center. Well, I love what you said about it. The voice of the body has a voice.
Yeah. And the body talks 24 hours a day, and you'll never sleep the same ever again either. All your sleep changes.
Yeah. That's what's happening. I know it's
sleep. Yeah. You'll be working all night long. Beauty is you're working in those dimensions, doing everything. So when you wake up, this physical reality is really easy. Yeah. So we still work in this physical reality. And so there's a lot of people when they first come through to New Earth, they don't want to work. Starseeds don't want to work. We have all this stuff we have to clear out. Okay. The moment, people got angry with me for years saying, we're working. We're like, we don't want to hear you're working. I'm like, okay, fine. They'll hit that place. They got to start working. They'll want to hear it then, And so what used to be our jobs in the physical realm changes because here we work in service with every breath. Yes. Every breath is in service. We breathe it. You breathe service to humanity because you're breathing love for humanity. Yeah. But there's a difference between dealing with a human ego and humanity. Does that make sense? And so it's easier to get up and work for the whole world than it is individuals because it takes so much energy sometimes.
Thank you. I say to myself, I did feel bad. I don't anymore. I'd say Soulogy is not a social circle. It's an energy.
No. I have people, they write in all the time. They want to talk and give them their phone number and they want to chit chat. That's not what this is. Mm-hmm. I don't have a team sitting here to converse all day long. Mm-hmm. We're all busy and everybody's working 12 jobs.
Exactly. Thank you.
You're not working. So we work. The difference is our work is in service to humanity. So when people don't want to pay, because we can get into the money aspect of it if you want to, they don't understand that's their lack.
Yeah.
That's their lack of appreciation. That's their lack of respect. And they're going to have to go through the same thing where they're treated with that lack of respect in order to get it.
Yeah. That's
nobody will want to pay them until they get it. And then what will happen is, and that's why I wrote the article I did a couple of days ago, is because you have to reassociate what money means to you.
Yeah.
Because you're not paying the person. You're supporting the New Earth realities. You're supporting the projects. You're supporting the people who are busting their ass.
Yeah.
You're supporting all of us.
Yeah.
And what happens is when you do, you are creating more to come back to support you. It's reciprocal.
Yes.
And so, I've been re-educating people for years about this. There is no lack here because everything is based upon respect and integrity and purity. And because we don't function from a place of lack, we don't do without anymore because we don't compromise and we share. We support, we share everything with everybody else. And so when each person gets to this place where they don't let things dictate, when they don't let those things, when they don't let their fear or selfishness or greed dictate, this means clearing all of that program so everybody understands the purpose of everything.
Yeah.
And so understanding that, once you transcend that separation inside of you, then all of that lack goes too. You are still going to work. So everybody says, what about my job? You're still going to work. Resign yourself to the fact you're going to work in service to humanity, though. You're going to work in service to Gaia. You're not going to work the way you did before. You're going to integrate light and get up and do what your soul tells you to do.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm feeling that.
And every moment is led around. The human is led around like it's on a leash for a while. And money becomes a leash too, because until each one of us has proven that we can come from honor and integrity and purity with everything in our lives, we don't get any more because we don't appreciate what we have.
Yeah.
We don't share what we have. And until we learn to appreciate, respect, and share, we don't get more.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're hoarding something material, you're actually blocking, and you're the one that turned me on to this. I met you in June. You were telling me a little bit privately about how it unfolded for you, right? And you were telling me how generosity and what you're describing. You're feeding this reality. You're creating this reality by making these. And so
you have to become it for it to occur. You're not waiting for it to happen anymore. When I started realizing that if I wanted the things that I needed to support me, I needed to support everybody else first. And my universe was like, step up and start supporting. Step up and start sharing. Step up, and then you call it forth. Everything's backwards here.
Yeah.
And so I did. And the beauty, and I tell everybody this, my universe, when you separate off from your universe, you just talk to your universe and get your own answers back. And then you merge back with your universe and you do what you saw and you become the universe again. So when I separate them out, it's for a place of understanding. I am my universe. I don't separate off from being the universe anymore. But if I need an answer, my human will ask and then I'll answer myself. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, but one day I'm sitting there and I was angry because people were not supporting, and we'd been busting our butt for years, 24/7, showing up, writing energy reports every day and helping people. And one, you don't do this because you want anything. You do this because you're on a soul level. You're so driven and you love so much. You care so much that you want everybody to experience New Earth too. Yeah. Once you start experiencing New Earth, you're like, oh my God, everybody needs to experience this. And then you get on a mission to bring New Earth forth for everybody to understand. When I started talking New Earth, it was unheard of for us already being here, because it was a one-day thing. And it's New Earth is what we create. It's the reality we hold. It's the consciousness we hold, and it's how we live our lives and treat each other. It's our behavior. Right. And so when you step up and you step forth and you become that aspect, then you activate the things you need to come to you. It's not the other way around. It's not to sit around and wait for it to happen. You can, but it's going to be a really rough ride. And so, you know, at one point, it's like, universe, why do I only get enough just to get by? I'm really tired of this just enough. And Todd, you're going to love this. Universe. And so I'm having this conversation with myself. I'm like, why? And I'm so tired of just getting by. I'm tired of people. They don't donate. They don't support. They don't care. They don't respect. They don't appreciate. So I'm going through this whole, you get pissed off at humanity every time you're about to shift. Okay. Every time you get pissed off at humanity, you're about to shift. It's a part of the process as well. And you're going to love humanity more once you do. But you got to clear all of that being pissed off at humanity so that you can clear it, so that you can love humanity more. So it's a part of the process that goes on for years. And the words were, because it's all you keep asking for is just enough to get by. I'm like, are you kidding me? And it's like, yeah. Now, the tricky part was, it's like, just ask for more. But here's the key. When you ask for more, you have to share more.
You give more,
And so then in the beginning, I had to work for free so that I could learn to appreciate everything I had. And then when I started understanding how selfish and greedy and disrespectful the human aspect was, it's like, now you don't have to work for free anymore. You had to be willing to. Now you're going to start charging because you have to support the work you're doing, and nobody else is going to support you for a while. You got to do it yourself. And so, you know, I did that for a while. But then when I hit that place, it's like, okay, I had to give 100% away every time so that I could get more. But I could only give it to those things that were aligned on a soul level, not because I was trying to save anyone or fix anybody else's world. You know, I would go out and sit with the homeless all day, and I would feed the homeless and take them to the hospital. Or, you know, I would do events and pay for everything. And I started using money to create realities and activate realities and bring more forth here for everybody. And I started sharing everything that I had. And then it was, now you can ask for more, but now half of everything you get goes out the door to support the other way showers, to support the other people doing this too. We support each other. And so at that point, it was half of everything you get goes back out the door. Then I moved into another phase, because each phase has different rules, if you will, cosmic rules. And then it was, now you've supported everybody else. You don't have to do that anymore because you're willing to, because you're basically reversing everything. You're clearing everything when you do. Then it was, now, you know, I was going to move to this home, and everybody that came that felt aligned, I was to provide a place and a space, and I was to teach. And they were my soul family. So I would bring people up in here and I would do that. And then it's like, okay, you don't have to do that anymore. You've completed those initiation. I was in God consciousness at that point. And God consciousness is the provider. Okay. You become the provider. You become the supporter. Whereas being energy is being supported. You have to step into being the supporter and maintain that balance too. And it's everything in your life is that way. And so once I completed those initiation processes, then it's like, okay, you're done. You don't have to support people anymore. Now all the money you get goes towards the programs, the projects, paying the teams and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, and I did that for a while. And then I could see how people didn't want to do the work. And it's like, okay, so you move out of that process. So do you see how we go through all these different processes?
No, I can relate to a lot of this. I'm not saying I've been it. Believe me.
I'm saying it. You don't know how many people, they want the money, they want the easy realities, but they don't want to do anything for it. They're like, oh, I have to actually do something? Yeah, yes, sure do. And because they don't understand how important their roles are here. We all have huge roles here to fulfill, and it takes all of us working together and sharing and supporting each other. You know, we're not here to take up the slack for each other's lack of power. We're here to take up the slack so that everybody can have it easier. Does that make sense?
Exactly. Yeah.
And so I make your reality easier. You make my reality easier. We make everybody else's reality easier. Then everybody has a lot easier reality. But we use our gifts, our energy. We use our knowledge. We use things that aren't tangible to the human that they don't understand is important. And human aspect, ego aspects don't understand that higher consciousness knowledge is what saves humanity. Each person becoming their higher self is how humanity transitions out of old earth into new completely. And so the knowledge and the information we share is eons and years above a lot of humans, because until they get to that vibration, it's not going to make any sense to them.
Right.
So we're sharing, you know, when I first came into embodying my higher self, the words are, you're no longer from this time, you're now from the future. And nobody's going to understand a word you say. And it was several years. I looked like the crazy lady. But you have to get okay with that, because you understand how important this is. So when we're bringing through quantum information that it applies to this now, it means it applies to this now.
That's right.
You know, and the beauty about quantum is that it always applies. It doesn't matter if I wrote it 5 years ago or today. They're all still, because they're vibrational.
Yes.
They're built on sacred geometrics. They're built on, you know, we get into quantum physics and equations and all this kind of stuff. That's our whole new reality. That's how we function.
Yeah.
Everything is quantum here. There's no linear anything.
Yeah.
At all. The ego was linear. So once you transcend your ego, all that linear stuff starts to go.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm getting some of that on the linear, and it's not easy, but it's not difficult. I can't explain it. You're saying that you have to experience it or embody it. You know, you have to do it or be it. Well, like the example I gave you with the generosity. You know, I actually, because whenever I do it, it comes in, and it's a frequency, and I consciously am saying to myself effortlessly, this is what I'm doing. I'm creating this reality, and it works. It just doesn't look like the 3D.
Right.
It doesn't like, oh, you're going to have this much money in the bank. No, it's just a daily thing.
Well, and the thing about it is okay. So the easiest way for me to explain this is that we have 12 dimensional human aspects that we have to master, and each 12 has a different job. So on a human level, we'll get up and go, oh, I mastered that. Well, now you're going to master something else. And so every time that I would do, so like that's why I do so many different jobs, is because they're all my 12 different dimensional aspects. And I maintain all of those jobs, publishing the books, teaching the courses, you know, whatever the case may be. I was doing energy for you. And the thing about it is all of those things are going to support you. You're no longer dependent on one thing. Like the human says, I need one job to pay my bills. No, you're going to do 12 jobs. Right. Those 12. And so what will happen is I'm trying to explain this as easy as I can.
No, this is good.
As we come together, then somebody else becomes a vibrational match. They're an aspect of ourselves, and they pick up that job. And then while they're doing that job, you can do something else. I'm trying to do this through geometrics right now.
No, okay. I got this. This is good.
Okay. Then everything you have supports both of you. And then somebody else will come in, and everybody's contributing. And then what you have supports the three of you. And so what happens is you combine your resources, you combine your energy, you combine things. But what you have is when you have a human ego aspect, they're showing up for what they can get out of it.
Yes.
Here, you show up to have something to offer. Some people have money, and that's what they're offering, but they're getting something in exchange, but it's vibrational. And what they're getting is the joy. What they're getting is the fulfillment on a soul level, because that fulfillment on a soul level is what drives us. That's your worthiness. Your worth is how you show up in the world. Your worth and your worth to humanity is where your abundance comes from. That's the easiest way that I can say it.
Yes, that's right.
And so while we're working through all these worthiness issues, programs, all of these years, you're transcending your judgments about money. You're transcending your own issues being a program, your own programs about the purpose of money. You're transcending your own programs about how to share. You're transcending the competition. You're transcending all of the duality inside of yourself so that everybody can unite and come together and work together, and everybody receives. But until you've done it yourself, you don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
Which is why we have to do it by ourselves for a while. Is because we have to reach that place inside of us that we don't separate off and go selfish if money comes into the picture. We don't separate off and go selfish if we get something. We don't separate off and go selfish anymore. And so if we do, then we're not given, if you will, we haven't achieved the vibrational frequency for infinite abundance to occur, because infinite abundance is because we are so abundant inside, we're willing to share everything. We share 24 hours a day. Now, the tricky part is if you bring somebody in needy or greedy mode, you're not allowed to share with them. This is where your divine masculine comes in, because, or God consciousness too, is you recognize the energy and you realize you're not assisting them in any way. You're not really helping them. The way you help them is you help them evolve their consciousness.
Like you said, if you do, you're taking on that.
It's your life, it's not theirs.
Yeah.
And so what happens is you start learning what's appropriate in every exchange. You start learning that with this person, I can't give them money because they go unconscious when I do.
Yeah.
With this, because then what happens is they just show up when they want more money again. You're creating that cyclical cycle that just goes round and round. It's karmic and stuff at timelines. Whereas, you know, if you create an opportunity and say, you can get paid if you want to work in service for humanity. You can get paid if you want to do this. Well, if they can't come through, then they're not really interested.
That's right. I can't do it for you. Isn't that what you said at the top of the show? That's what we're being told.
Right.
Hey, no one's going to do it for you. I mean, I know that sounds very basic, but that's getting very loud right now.
It is. And what happens is, okay, so when we were human, little egos, Todd, it used to be what everybody was doing. Now what's going to start happening for you guys, now it's what they're not doing. You're not stepping up. You're not coming through. You're not sharing. You're not open. It flips. Everything flips. So when we were human, we kept looking for everybody else to be honest and be truth, right? Then once you become a higher self, you can see everything. Yeah. And so what happens is the very first time you meet people, you'll meet their higher selves, but then after that, you'll start seeing the human ego programming. It's backwards once you ascend. Then after a while, you can see everything simultaneously. But in the beginning, it's confusing because you'll connect on a soul level because you've been able to connect with yourself on a soul level.
Yeah.
So that first meeting, a lot of the times you can connect on a soul level, but then their walls go back up. Or your walls go back up, or your programming comes back in, or their programming comes back in. And so a huge part of this process is those walls got to come down and they got to stay gone.
Yeah.
They can't come back in. Those human programs can't be brought back in anymore. You can't play in the old ego games anymore. The conscious thing is to say, no, it's not tolerable or acceptable.
Yeah.
And one thing I started doing was so that everybody understood in my reality, what I was look at the person and tell them, unconscious you is not welcome here. Conscious you is always welcome. And I would make you make people accountable for their actions. You make people accountable for their actions. You hold them, not that you're imposing on them. From a place of this is what's acceptable if you're going to have a reality together, because you don't have to have a reality together. You can connect on a soul level and the person can go off for years. And the beauty is we don't exist in time. So you won't even know they've been gone for years. You have no clue. You forget about them. They're gone. Then when it's time for them to come back into your reality, that vibration will activate and you'll know they're coming back around. And when they show up, you check and see which aspect you have. And then you decide whether there's a reality or not. And if they're still very unconscious, if their heart is not open, if it's the, when you get into the human ego, it's very predictable because it only shows up when it wants certain things. So then you start seeing, well, they're in user mode or they're in manipulation mode, and you can see all these things. And you just, the only thing is it's not a judgment. You just don't desire the experience anymore.
Yeah.
It's not fun. It's not productive.
It's like you said earlier when you said, you made the statement, what was it? I will not have anyone but a ninth dimensional frequency.
A few years, yeah, because I started understanding anything less was still too human, because the human programming was still too strong. And so I'm like, you know what? You bring in people that their heart, because ninth dimension is your heart is open, Arcturian. And then you get into, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th. You can be, 13th for me is Christed consciousness. 15th is God consciousness. And I've been functioning from these level of consciousness for years. The only thing is that having others who function at the same level of consciousness, you basically have to bring them into your consciousness, and they have to be exposed to your field. And you basically have to bring them into that consciousness too, which is what Eve and I have been doing for the last year and a half. As she comes in, I bring her into this consciousness. I teach her. I share everything with her. She goes back. She clears the program. She shows back up. And we've been building relationship, building, and you're basically grooming the others so that you all can function at the same vibrational frequency. It takes a huge investment on our part to be in each other's realities. Yeah. Every person's got to be fully invested with everything they are and everything they have too, because you move out of twin relationships where you're there to trigger each other's stuff into divine soul union and partnership, so that every person comes in is a partner in this relationship, a partner in every capacity. And we're partners. We're all equal. Everybody has the same capabilities. Everybody can contribute. Everybody can share. But everybody's got to show up and be willing to, otherwise you have to go apart again. And for a while, it's going to be show up, go apart, show up, go apart. It's like this a whole lot, and it's like a revolving door for a lot too. And you'll notice that there are times that you're supposed to have a short exchange, because we exchange light codes when we come together. It's beautiful. You activate light codes when you come together. And there are purposes, and there are certain relationships that you can see long advance. Before everything comes, you've called it forth. You're never surprised when anything happens anymore. In the beginning, you're always like, oh, this is magic. But then after a while, well, we love magic. We live in magical realities 24 hours a day. But we're never surprised when something happens here, because we've been working for it all these years. We've been waiting for it to show up. Yeah. So we're not surprised. It is the materialization in physical form for everything that we've transmitted out. And you have to hold that vibration long enough for that physical reality to take form. You have to create that physical reality yourself from your highest vibrational consciousness. And you have to hold that state of consciousness for the physical to take physical matter form. Yeah. So if you go unconscious, you disconnect from the ability for that to occur, and you stay in that dimension until you've cleared that program and become conscious, and then you vibrate back into that reality where that exists. Does this make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. And I love what you said about having the 12 aspects of a human.
My 12 aspects, they all do different jobs. One builds my website, one cleans the house, the other one does the energy sessions, the other one does sessions, the other one teaches. I mean, and they wonder why we're so busy. And what will happen is, as you embody these 12 aspects and move in the Christ consciousness and God consciousness and all these different levels of consciousness, then other people will come in, and you check and see if they can fulfill that role in your bigger picture. Because then we move into Galactic, which goes into a very different place. You become the nexus point. And then what will happen is, when people come together, you move out of being the center of attention, and it becomes the purpose, and humanity becomes the nexus point. Okay. And then everybody steps off from being the center of attention and the one who's responsible for everything, and your soul purpose becomes the nexus point of the galaxy, and each person is a galactic, is their own galaxy that revolves around their own planet. Does this make sense?
Absolutely it does. I'm just writing a couple of notes, and I don't write too many notes.
What happens is that for a while, you're going to be the universe, and you're going to work your ass off, and you're going to get your new reality set up as a universal being. as you maintain universal consciousness, as your body goes through the physical stuff and all the neural pathways open up and all the ancient centers and the knowledge comes forth. And so it's a very physical and physiological process we go through here. Okay. And then what will happen is once you become the whole universe and you've been the universe for a while and you've established yourself and proven yourself on a human level, that you can come from honor and integrity, that you can be trusted, because most people don't understand you're establishing a level of trust and respect and integrity with each other. And so once you've established, it takes time to build these relationships and prove yourself and transcend all of that duality we had inside. Once we get to that place, then we can step out of being the only one in that universe. And each one of us are universes, so we become a multiverse. And we all walk around interdimensionally as the multiverse. Well, what will happen is on a galactic level, then each person that comes together represents a different aspect of the universe and plays out a different role on a universal level. I'm trying to explain it from different ways of how we understand.
No, I got you.
And so I'm my universe. Eve will be her universe. Her team will be their universe. And we all unite and come together, and everybody takes up the slack and does a different role. And then everybody's receiving, because we've all achieved the ability for full abundance, because we've become abundant within ourselves, and we've learned how to share and support and show up every day.
That's right.
Bring
your lunch pail and go to work. And that's really the way I.
The difference is our work is it's something that we love. So I love writing for people. I could write all day, every day. Everything I do, I love to do. The linear stuff is the hardest part, because when you function from this really quantum place, doing linear work is challenging with your body. Your body won't support the linear work anymore. So the linear stuff gets to be really challenging. So like Eve comes in and she's like, I can handle that. And I'm like, oh, good. Thank you. Because I can't. And so I've actually had to bring people in these last few years that can do the linear stuff for me, because I can't do it anymore. You can't maintain a quantum state of consciousness 24 hours a day and still function as linear as we just did. I can, but everybody's got to go away while I sit here by myself and I do it all, because it takes more time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
So anyway, this is a very different existence that doesn't fit into what reality is on a human level. It doesn't.
Exactly.
The only thing is that New Earth is each person being their highest aspect all of the time and stepping into those roles. Anchoring the ninth dimensional template in now means that it's available for every person to be that aspect of them. They're ninth dimensional and above, which means
pure heart.
Pure heart. And it gets into once you move into that. When I activated Arcturian energies, this love just flooded through me. And for 3 days solid, I just cried tears of just pure joy. It's this most profound, pure love that you've ever felt. And there's no words to describe. And human love can't even come close. They're not even in the same ballpark. But once you remember, this is called remembering. Once you remember the purity, once you remember how things are supposed to be, once you remember all of this stuff, all the information comes forth and the knowledge and stuff like that too, you now have the tools and the capability to share and elevate the consciousness of everybody and bring everything into a higher state of consciousness too. And as each person does this in their own reality, look at the ripple effect of what happens for our planet.
Yeah.
Which is why it takes everybody doing this.
Yeah.
You know, so the importance, the tricky part is in the beginning, we don't think that we're important, and we don't care about ourselves, and we don't love ourselves, not on the level that we need to. Yeah. And then we come to love and respect ourselves, and we don't care about anybody else. We let everybody else go. And then it's time, okay, now everybody, you know, everybody's important, everybody's special, nobody's more special than the other, everybody's equal here. The only difference is how unconscious or conscious somebody is, and how easy it is to bring something into consciousness, and how much resistance there is.
Right.
The more ego, the more resistance. And what we started to understand was, don't worry about it. Put the information out there, create the opportunity, flood the whole earth with the knowledge, and just keep going. Don't worry about it. Everybody they'll connect with the information. For my work, it took people years. A lot of times, I still have people go, I've been reading your stuff for years. I'm just now starting. It makes total sense to me. That's because they had to acclimate to that vibration within themselves so they could understand me, which is a soul level. When I write, I write on a soul level. I write on a galactic level. When I write and I share from that expanded place, because that's where I live. I don't ever contract back down or disconnect. If I do, like every new moon, you're going to be more human. You're not going to have as much light. Yep. Every new moon, you're going to be more human. There's more human programming. All of your old programs and stuff, people will start to show up. All the users, manipulators, they'll all show back up again. That's because you have to exist on your own light. And if you don't have your own light, when you hit the new moon, that's where the void space hits. We enter into a template clearing that goes on for days after that. There's massive anchoring. That's when all the solar flares occur, and those knock the body down so the DNA can accelerate reprogramming and recoding and all of this. And so as we go through this, you'll become more human because you're about to go through a void space. Well, our voids last for 2 seconds. They're like, oh, blip, done. But the human void can last for years. Yeah. Because the void space is like a black hole. It's what sucks the energy and stuff. But once you fill that black hole, if you will, with your own light, then there's no black hole anymore. Does this make sense?
Yes.
And so when you hit the new moon, right? When you hit the new moon, you're functioning on a human body again. Your light body depletes. So you don't have any energy for other people. So we have to pull away more. Now the gateways are 24 hours a day. Now everything is always happening at an accelerated rate, at an increased, the cosmic frequencies. Every planet is inside your body. So Mars coming in, that's going to be really interesting.
What was that, Mars?
Mars.
Yeah, he followed me around for like 4 days this week. Yeah, it was pretty intense.
Well, Mars has many purposes, but Mars is the ruler of, I'm going to get into a lot of stuff here, but Mars, if you look at what Mars dictates, in the old days, Mars represented our separation, strong Atlantean distortions and stuff like that. Were relative to the Mars energy. And so when you get into some of these, if you have any separation inside of you, you're going to go through that. For those of us who function as energy, your energy body, when you function as energy, then Mars is beautiful. Yeah. And so, but Mars is going to take people into the root chakra.
That's what happened to me. I went out 4 days out of 5, and I walk out and I'm in perfect alignment with it. And I felt it in my root. And then I heard it tell me, and it wasn't bad. It wasn't a bad thing. It just said, I'm here. I'm here. We're going to clear some stuff out and I'll be around for a while. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, no, well, and this is the beauty is that Mars energy, the reason we were excited about Mars is Mars, if I'm not mistaken, I don't do all of that stuff. I do it from my own seeing. Yeah. I don't look anything. Yeah. But if I'm not mistaken, Mars has to do with ruling energy. So notice what you just said, that you're going through. It's on an energetic level. It's going to be a massive root chakra clearing, which is where our biggest form of separation emanated from, but it was located in the whole body. So like each organ. That's why the lower half of the body represents the lower realms, and the top half of the body represents the higher realms. And so you're going to oscillate between the lower half and the top half each time you're working in a different part of your body and stuff for a while. Right. Then once your body becomes a universal body, then you're going to have light zoom, and up and down and all around all the time, because you don't have the lower realms and the higher realms anymore.
Right.
Okay. And then we have different light body phases, and we have to go through all of them eventually. And the beauty with the new templates that I wrote the other day is by the time we hit the 2020 timeline, then that's all avatars, embodied avatars. So the next couple years are going to be accelerated to bring everybody into their own avatar consciousness. For me, hitting avatar consciousness a few years ago, it was like a 2-year, what do you call it? Initiatory phase, because we have initiation and passageways that we have to go through and all. And then hitting the 2222 code, which correlates to that, which is service to humanity. And so embodying, that one hits the body really hard. And so, it'll take it down. We have, the frequency light upgrades flu. We'll run through the body every time our bodies are being detoxed really strongly, which will usually correlate to a Syrian activation that's going on. Syrian, for me, I look at Syrian and Lyran, they always come together. And Syrian being, you don't have masculine, feminine, but they do tend to have more of a energy trait. And so Syrian tends to have more of a masculine energy, where Lyran is the feminine.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And so, like this morning, we got up and it's Syrian first, and then the Lyran energy comes through right behind it, which is the Lion's Gate. But they're always together for me. Yeah. And
so it's like the kick in the butt and then the hug.
It pretty much, yes. And so, this is going to be really powerful, because of the avatar codes that came through a couple of days ago are now everybody who's ready to embody all of these higher self aspects and ready to fulfill these higher roles. It's now available on a collective level. So the 9th dimensional template, I'm going to say this and nobody cares, okay? But I have to do it to give as an example. For me, years ago, embodying the 9th dimension, I had to carry it for years along with all these other dimensions until the collective Gaia completed the process for it to become a collective thing. Does this make sense?
Yes.
And so that's why I wrote the piece about we don't wait. We can embody the 9th dimension within us. We don't have to wait for the collective. What this means is now collectives are now going to receive those avatar codes as they're ready.
And that was the 2222.
The 2222 is just one of them. But the 2222 code.
That was huge 2-3 days ago. And I kept seeing it everywhere.
It'll knock you on your ass. It took me down when I went through the 2222 code for the very first time. It started on January 1st. The words were go back to bed. You're going to integrate. Well, I didn't know that meant for 3 weeks. Knocked on my ass is an understatement, because my body had to fully integrate the 2222 code, which is a whole reworking of the entire nervous system and immune system. It's huge. Every light body has a different nervous system. So we go through all of this reworking of our body in order to embody these higher self aspects and merge them all as one. So like, unless I have somebody come into my reality that is like really full blown ego, I don't have to shift into any one of my aspects individually anymore. I can be Syrian, Arcturian, Andromedan, Lyran all simultaneously at the same time and emit and transmit all these codes just through my presence and my essence and go about my day. If I have somebody come into my reality that's like really full blown ego, that's like really stepping over the line, then I got to pull my Syrian outer God consciousness and I got to get bigger and I got to break it down. And so I can pull it out if I need to pull it out, but it's always from love. And so they will always be told, I love you, but this is not acceptable. I love you, but no, I love you. And you'll send them off to go figure things out. You'll send them off like children. Go figure it out yourself. Go work through it yourself. Go pitch your temper tantrum somewhere else yourself. You will invest your time and energy in those who are as invested as you are. And that's where your new relationships come from, is those who are fully invested and who truly do care too. And you have, this is the thing, we don't all have the same common purposes. So like some people are like, I have to be out on the earth every day. For me, I'm in here doing computer work and I'm happy inside, where somebody else is like, I don't want to be inside all day long. So how we come together matters too, because our roles are very different and they have to be compatible and cohesive, if that makes sense.
Yes.
So if you get like a whole group of people and their job is to go out and work on the earth, then it's going to be very different than another group of people. Our goal is for all of us to unite, to all be doing those things, while some people will be doing that physical part.
Yeah.
We're going to be doing the other physical parts. Everybody does a different physical part.
Yeah, that's an important distinction, because I think some of what we were seeing is, hey, I've got this idea. Hey, I got this idea. We're supposed to do this. We're supposed to do that. Come do this. Come do that. And you're right. Everybody's finding their own unique part of it.
Well, and we, to be able to coexist in the same space and really care about each other and everybody on a soul level. If each person is truly connected on a soul level, then everybody can work together. Everybody can come together. But if that person hasn't come to that place inside of themselves to function from that depth of their own soul, then there's also still going to be a lot of programming going on. And that programming is what screams loud. Those distortions are loud and they're intolerable.
They're getting really louder and louder. That's why I'm just going to keep surrendering.
Okay, so here's what photonic light does. Photonic light shows you where duality and polarity exist.
Okay.
Photonic light exacerbates distortions because it increases communication through the electromagnetic field.
Okay.
Photonic light allows you to close your eyes or go to sleep and travel through your consciousness to all the other dimensions easier, so that you can clear old timelines. So the heavy duty sleeps are clearing old timelines. Okay, so we don't remember anything. That's because we're clearing. So when I go to bed every night, it's like clear, activate new realities. Okay, universe. I'm always in gratitude and appreciation. I'm always in that highest place. I don't ever take anything for granted. I don't ever go unconscious or forget anything, and I always share. But I also am always observing the programming, because you're observing and you're checking to see what's in the way. And if anybody's in their ego, it's going to be in the way. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and another thing that's come out too, and I bet other people are experiencing, is it's like self-care. I'm starting to really take care of myself.
That's your light body kicking in, by the way.
And if I want to go next door and get a bite to eat, I say to myself, hey, you can spend an extra $5 or $10 and get something that you want. Treat yourself. I mean, what's a better way to serve yourself? Give gratitude to yourself.
Well, you have to treat yourself because it helps keep your vibration high too. Because what will happen is we all do the inner work so much. We all dedicate our energy so much each day that you have to treat yourself all along the way.
Yeah.
And so you become like it. Yes. You have to learn to treat yourself. You have to learn how to give yourself some time off, take a break. You have to step back. You have to pace yourself because of how much we do. Constantly pace, constantly pull away, constantly integrate, constantly. But we function from the slower you go, the more expanded your consciousness is.
Yeah.
The deeper inside you go. And so we have this joke that if I want to get up and go anywhere, I got to start 3 hours early because I'm the slowest person on it. Because you walk in this meditative energy flow. Now, if I need to speed my body up, I can speed my body up without speeding time up.
Yeah.
You can move your body through space and still bring time to a halt. You can do all these cool things when your brain speeds up on a human level, time speeds up. That's why everybody's got to get out of their head and move to their heart, because when you come to your heart space, then you move to universal time, which coincides with Gaia and the universe. And time ceases to exist, and you're one with everything. And so time, you move through time.
Right.
At a different speed and pace. It's very different here.
Yeah, that makes sense. Instead of time moving through you.
Right. It moves from inside of you. So that's why the gamma is so important, is because what it does is gamma will obliterate the old programs. Gamma will stimulate your physical body to clear all the distortions out. Gamma will activate your light so that you can produce, do. But what you'll find is that when you run out of light, your body will go kaput right then. And so we literally do run on light. So when I do my events, I can go for 10, 12, 15, 18, 20 hours without missing a beat. Once I hit about the 20-hour mark, my body says, okay, you're about done, because I've used all my light.
Yeah.
And then you go to bed to regenerate and build light again. And so when we sleep, we're not sleeping. Our light bodies are regenerating.
Yeah.
And our human bodies are integrating so that they fused become the same thing. If you deplete all your light, then your body, you revert back to a human body. And that's where all the lack stuff comes back in.
Yeah. So it's all tied together.
It's all, yes, it is. And so this is where your light becomes your value, though. Your light is what is going to support you. Your light is going to pay for your realities. I'm putting this in very basic human terms. Okay. Yeah. Your light is your value. So if you don't value your light, then you don't value you. You don't value the light of each other. You don't value the energy of each other. Light, energy, soul. And so you will be taught to respect your light. You will be taught on a human level. We all get taught to respect each person's energy, respect the time. See, for us, time is energy.
Yeah.
Time, energy, money, all the same thing. Abundance, all the same thing. If I waste my time, I'm wasting my energy, which means I'm wasting my abundance. I'm wasting all these things. So you learn not to waste your time. You focus your energy, you focus your consciousness, you focus your breath, and you put it into the things that are going to bring the things to support you, and everybody else is going to be in your reality supporting too. Each person moves to service to humanity after they've come to love and respect themselves fully. After or as. You come first for a while. You have to let the whole outside world go, and you have to quit caring about what everybody else thinks or what they're doing, because it's not your business.
That's right.
What your business is what you're doing. You clean your own yard up.
That's
you clean your own body.
You handle your shift, and I'll sweep my shift up. But the other thing I noticed too, because I love what you said about the body's voice. I really had
telepathic communication with your body is what I used to call it.
And then the other thing I'm finding too is my ability to instruct my body. Like, it goes like that.
Well, you're going to love one even more than that. You can actually activate all new realities just by claiming them and calling them forth here. And then you get up each day and you do what's fully aligned, and it pulls the reality to you.
Yeah.
You don't seek anything ever again. You get up from this deep and deeply connected place, and you do whatever is fully aligned that you saw while you were laying in the bed and couldn't do anything. You're going to be seeing all the other realities.
Bravo. Yeah.
You write them down, pen and paper, write them on. You won't be able to remember them. When you get up the next day, you're going to go, oh, crap, I can't remember anything.
Mm-hmm.
Write it all down, and when you get up the next day, that's your list from your higher self for your human to get up and get busy.
Yeah.
And what I started doing was I would write it all down because I couldn't retain the vibration at the time. Now I can do 12 billion things simultaneously, and I don't forget because it's all mine. It's inside. It's I write notes to myself. I have papers everywhere. I can just go pick up a piece of paper. You are constantly in creator mode. Create. It never stops.
Yeah.
You will be so creative. You will be completely abundant too, because all the things you're creating are supporting you and everybody else that's a part of that too.
Yeah.
Which
That's
is
right.
beautiful.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
There's no more coddling. There's no more making exceptions. There's no more, will you do this for me? Special intent. It's like, no.
Mm-hmm.
When you move into working for the mass consciousness, then you're doing for everybody. Now it's their responsibility to go figure it out. Now it's their responsibility to choose. Now it's their, if they don't want to, fine. You don't really care. You're focused on what you're here to accomplish, be, and do, because you're going to receive based upon what you're transmitting out.
That's right. That's right.
And each person has the capability too. What they don't understand is that their ego will always be challenged. That's what the light is. The ego will always be challenged to figure it out. The ego will always be challenged to step up more. The ego will always, and as you realize this, you just get up and you push yourself because you don't want to be pushed anymore. A timeline collapse will push you on an ego level.
Yeah.
Your whole reality will collapse if you're not careful.
Yeah.
Which is why we have to manage so many realities through consciousness, is because we're keeping all these different realities going simultaneously, and you can't let anything get out of whack. Does that make sense? Because they're all vibrational.
Yeah, that's right.
And
heart.
Go ahead.
Yeah. I was just going to say heart pays in hearts. Yeah.
Well, and the beauty is all the energy we use to put into the old unconscious stuff, you turn around and focus, and you focus it on consciousness.
Yeah.
You focus it on creating. You focus it on showing up. You focus it on sharing your gift, and you call forth all of the others who care too. You call forth all of the others who are just as invested too. You call forth all of the others, and you just keep saying, okay, universe, bring me this, bring me that. And on a human level, you just keep saying, bring me this, bring me that. And then you get up each day. But what'll happen is the human aspect doesn't say, bring me this. It wishes.
Yeah.
No, that you'll be there forever.
I don't know what is the word for it? It's not a demand and it's not a command. It seems to be like something.
It is a command. It's a command as your higher self. It's a command where you're basically, you call them forth in order. Basically what you're doing is you're speaking through light codes, and you're activating in that other dimension, if you will. I'm going to break this down this way, where those realities have already occurred. Those of us, as your body, as you go inside and you gain telepathic and pineal access to everything again, you get to see all the other dimensions that have already occurred, and you just get up and go do them.
Yeah.
So easy.
Yeah.
But you can't see if you can't allow yourself to dream, if your body's vibration is too low, if you're functioning from your root chakra and survival mode and blame mode and all those things you can't see, which what will happen is that we stay in those realities until all the energy is gone. Well, you have a choice. You either work through it yourself, or you're going to stay there until that you break.
Yeah.
And so we learned a long time ago, each one of us have the capability to step up every day and say, okay, I'm ready. Let's do this, universe. And you take your universe by your hand and you say, come on. And on a human level, you become one with your universe by listening to your universe and letting it run the show.
Yeah.
And you just call forth the realities. You see them and go, okay, bring me this one, bring me that one. And for me, I don't even care. I'm like, universe, just bring me the next awesome reality. Bring me the magic. Bring me this. Bring me. And it's like my 24 hours a day. And it does.
Beautiful.
But not the way you think it's going to. It brings people. It brings opportunities. Yeah. But this is where we have to learn to be able to pay attention to the vibration. Because the moment you settle for less, you close the door on more.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that's right.
Does that help?
No, I love it, man. I love talking to you. We've been talking for 3 hours and 16 minutes.
It's not hard to do, is it?
No.
This is awesome. I want to say happy Lionsgate to everybody, you guys.
Yeah. And I don't know if everybody was here, but we didn't talk beforehand, so we actually just went right into it. But are you working on anything? Are you coming out with anything? You mentioned something about a class you were teaching. Yeah, you do, don't you?
I don't ever stop. We have so much that we are doing. And what we do is that, I have a new email series coming out about transitions to New Earth, and it's helping people. I'm using my own journey and going through parts I haven't ever shared really, but I'm using it as the example. And I walk people through on a quantum level. We go through all these different things and weave through them. And it's a weekly series that I've been trying to get it out for 2 weeks. I'm a little bit behind, but you don't get behind. You just do it when it's ready.
So this is from subscribing and then you email it out?
It's an automated list, but I'm writing all of the pieces now and putting them up. And so when somebody signs up, once I make the sign up available, which I was going to launch today, but I need another week. So it'll probably be next week. But it's it explains how all this works in a different way. And so it brings people through with me, and you feel like you're there with me, which is kind of cool. But it's about transitioning from old earth to new, which can't be done in one email. So it's probably going to run for months.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's a lot. It's a lot on our part to produce and do all these things. So it's quite an undertaking. So right now, as soon as it's available, we've got fundraisers we're going to be doing where we're raising the funding for all of the huge projects that we're accomplishing and stuff like that.
Very cool.
So,
Very cool.
there's tons, there's classes. I'm always teaching classes. We've got, eventually one day we'll have the center here on the island. That's another one of the projects that's been in play for the last many years. That will be a huge part of assisting not only the island and the community, but also everybody that flies in. And so we've got tons, because people don't understand that we basically have to raise all the funds for everything that we do. And so we work, you know.
Yeah. Isn't that funny? That's the way it works.
But the cool part is it's all aligned on a soul level, and it's all pure.
Yeah.
And it's all for humanity. And so it's all supported, and everything comes when we hit that vibration and we accomplish that next thing. That's why you don't sit around waiting for one day. You get up and start, and then the rest stuff gets activated to come forward.
Yeah.
And so I always have tons. I'm writing all the time. I've got book publishing out the yin yang to do.
Wow.
So I'm republishing 3 books. I got 2 written. I'm republishing them. I'm going through Balboa. I'll do the 3rd one. Meanwhile, Taiwan, and they're going to be translated in Chinese. Eve has taken care of those, and so they're going to be done over there for Asia and stuff. So we've got, a lot of my work is translated in all these different languages. So it's just, they're massive projects, and it takes a lot of our focus energy to accomplish them all.
Yeah.
But anybody can always go to my website, and I announce things. They can sign up for the newsletters. They can read years of activations. Every article I write is a light encoded article and a teaching. Everything I write and I share. On top of, I have free stuff all over my site for years, and everything I do. And then the other things that fund the projects or support the people or the things that we need to do, we charge for those, because that has a specific purpose too.
Sure.
So, we have classes. We're going to be doing all kinds of stuff, always teaching, because the interactive stuff is where people really get it, because we actually go in and we break the programs down. So when somebody comes in, you can see them, hear, see, feel them, and you just go straight through and break the whole thing down, which is really cool, because the moment you break it down, they can shift that entire timeline themselves.
Yeah.
So we do a lot of breaking programs. But everything, you name it, all of it. I held up on retreats for a while because they're a massive undertaking. And so we'll resume those again. We're going to be focusing a lot on highest consciousness business.
I like that.
We left higher a long time ago. We're about evolving business from the very highest consciousness place, and all of the teachers and practitioners, and focusing on, so in addition to the individual stuff we've been doing, then we're going to be offering the stuff, we've been doing all this for years, but making it like a bigger production so that we can do more. So, you know, everything, you name it.
Well,
It's all
yeah, your stuff. Yeah, your stuff looks a lot different even than from like a June. I mean, it really does. It's put together real well, you know, which is probably a representation of the way you've got everything set up in the first place. So
that's because Eve and them have started helping me with some of the workload.
It looks
and
good.
the workload got so intense that they took up some of the slack, which they've become my godsend. I call them my godsend. They're taking up a lot of the slack so that I can actually focus on some of these other things and you know, creating the artwork that goes out and the placards and the quotes and all that kind of stuff to allow me to write for people. I had to stop writing for a while because I was too inundated. And so now I'm trying to write. So that's why.
I totally get that. Yeah, I'm trying to do the website for Soulogy now. And I'm just like, you know, but no, I get what you're saying. I'm glad you shared that about the 12 aspects, and there's so many other things on here. I'm going to go back and watch this. I really appreciate you coming on.
Look at the website. Look at the website. The website's going to change every day. Okay. Yeah. So make it very basic and simple. All you need is the main landing page. And look at the website. Get you the easiest drag and drop. I use Weebly. It's drag and drop. It's creative. I can put my picture.
Oh, drag and drop. Okay.
Yeah, and so the reason I say this is the higher you go in consciousness, the less linear you're going to be. You want something simple that you can maintain and that you can update every day. And so like I'm in my website every day making changes and updating, but the website is a part of source creator energy. And so what will happen is the website, when you can't do anything and you're in the bed, the website is where you go, because you can lay in the bed and dream up the pictures you want to write. Or when you can't function linearly, believe it or not, you think about a website and think of linear. But if you look at the website as a place for you to play and create and reach people, it'll become fun. And it'll be easy because you'll actually enjoy the website. I love doing my website.
Well, you just cleared something for me.
That's why I wanted to say that.
It just went from like this big mountain to this fun little block, like a little playing blocks.
Your website is a way for you to reach people and to make a difference in their life. And you, if you start a blog, which rename it whatever you want. I don't like the word blog, but start something where you write for people, where from that caring place. You write from people and share for them, because something that will matter. And believe it or not, it's going to be the things that you think are not important, other people want to hear. The things you want to say, nobody cares about for a while. It's all backward. And so the website itself is a place to play and create and get some cool pictures and write the things and put some color in it. And it can be a lot of, and you'll end up actually really enjoying it. And you'll look up and have a website done, and you'll be amazed. There was nothing to it.
Yeah.
So
well, the funny thing is, I probably put 4 or 5 together years ago, my old life. But it's just sat here, and I'm like, well, I got it to a certain point. I'm like, what do I do? Let me ask you this.
Pick the simplest platform. Your ego will complicate everything. Always go for simple.
Okay.
Pick the simplest platform, the one that a dummy could figure out.
Yeah.
Don't try to go complicated. Well, and okay, so now let me say this. I know you're going to ask me a question, but let me say this really quick. Our genius is like a small child. Okay? We don't have the linear construct. So while I might be able to share all this genius information, I am a child that functions from a very pure, simple place. Nothing's complicated in my world.
Right.
Because my ego doesn't come into play. Your ego is going to complicate everything. So bring it back to simple. Your heart is very simple. What's the purpose of the site? To reach people. Then that's all you care about. You don't care about any of this other stuff. Make it really easy.
Right.
And you'll be surprised. Yep. Make it simple. Though the moment it gets complicated, your head has come into play.
Yeah, it makes total sense. That's what it's been. It's like, I got to do this. I got to make this Taj Mahal thing, right?
No, it will evolve as you do. I have 3 websites still. and my 2 from earlier years, and average, well, actually now I have 4. But I've had many websites over the year. They will evolve as you do. You'll wake up one day and be told, go get a new domain. I have like 20 domains. You just buy them and buy them and buy them, and you grow into them. You don't know why you're doing it in that moment. It might be months or a year.
Yeah.
So you're going to do things that you get shown on a human level to do that you haven't embodied that intelligence, that higher intelligence yet. Yeah. And so it takes a while before that thing will come into fruition. And just so you know, it takes an average of 2 years for certain projects to culminate and come forth. So if you're sitting around waiting for one day, start now, because it'll take 2 years for a lot of these things to create a return. Now, because we're in such high frequencies, they don't take as long. But understanding that certain projects won't come into fruition. They have a gestation period, just like birth.
Yeah.
Okay.
It makes sense.
Just sharing that with you. So all the people sitting around waiting for the one day, it'll get started when you get started.
Yeah.
Go ahead, sweetheart. What were you fixing to ask?
No, I'm good. No. I was just going to say to you, if we didn't get a chance to talk, we're genuine. I'm genuine.
Yeah, use genuine. It brings a different feeling through.
I'm genuine. So I just want to know if there's anything I can do for you, the Soulogy Network can do for you, to put anything out there. If you come out with anything, or if you have a point person.
I would love for people to reassociate the way that they see everything. And the only reason I say this is because, like people ask me, certain things, so like with me, what do I have? I don't really care. Go to my website.
I just got what you're saying. It's that you do it. No, you're right. You're absolutely right.
If, one, realize you are going to have to do the inner work. Everybody's got to do the inner work. There's no getting away from that. It's just whether you're going to do it on your own or whether you're going to be forced and have nothing left. These are the 2 choices. And so choose to do it on yourself. And those of us who, like me, I have like all the courses and classes and stuff like that. So it's basically each person choosing to do this, and then realize you're going to be exactly where we are at some point.
Yeah.
And it's all about respect and support. And, it's, shut up. Okay.
Yeah. That's another great one for today. If you want something, go get it.
Well, and the thing about it is that the reason we do it the way we do it is we create the opportunity. And so this is what I tell people. Is that your universe will give you opportunity after opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. And if you don't take it, it'll take the opportunities away.
Yeah.
And then what's left is desperation.
Yeah.
And so take the opportunities that are available. And because our priorities are very visible to each other and our universe and all that kind of stuff, because our universe is us. When you become the whole universe, you just observe yourself and everything else.
Exactly.
You're in observation mode 24 hours a day. But basically, I'm good. Just put this out. We'll come together and do more things.
Go to my
website, people. There's a billion things there. We're always adding more stuff. It's awesome. Bring consciousness into your life with each other. Pay attention to the way you behave. Pay attention to all these things because they matter. Because they transmit across all the other dimensions. But I'm good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Come join us for some of the events.
I was going to say I can't wait to get to Hawaii and come by for a visit, but I'll make sure I spend about a day at the beach before I come in the door.
Oh, you're so funny. No, I'm talking about the people that work for me with me. I'm like, don't come up to the house until you've gotten yourself inside. But,
wow,
dude,
I can't.
You can't not hit the beach here. Okay, let me see if I can show you these clouds. Hold on. We've gone. Can you see how pretty they are? Electromagnetic. Yeah. They're just very soft. Yeah. We had a beautiful day.
Is it like that every day in your universe?
Well, it's always beautiful. The energy is always beautiful. Some days it's raining, and rain is great work time for me. So the one reason you surround yourself with nature is because it supports your vibration so that you can do more.
Yeah.
And so surrounding myself with nature gives me the capability to stay focused and accomplish, and it helps you maintain your light body. So when it was time for me to move here, my universe was, you have to move. Yeah. Once I was able to achieve a certain level of light body, I had to move my body to a place that would support my light body, and so that I could continue to expand and embody, because where I was vibrationally wasn't going to support my next phase.
Right.
And so I had to come somewhere that vibrationally could support, so I could be in service fully all the time and my body be supported, which was here surrounded by nature, the vibration of the island. But when you hit this island, your tests start. And
really?
Oh, yeah. It's going through all these initiation process and clearing all these programs out. And so for a lot of people that get here, and it's quite intense. The energies are intense, but they're beautiful all at the same time. But even Gaia, when we shifted this year, everything changed. And so coming into the divine, everything was, Kauai used to hold the divine feminine. Well, when the earth moved into divine masculine, Kauai did too.
Oh, wow.
And so it's no longer float around and take what you can and get and be supported. Now you actually have to step up and do something. So this island's been clearing a lot of stuff. And it's coming into a much higher vibration too. But the Lemurian energies are really powerful here, which is beautiful. And it's very pure. But when I hit this island, I went through it too. But it was magical and easy, but I also had to break through anything within me that still had to be cleared too.
Oh, yeah.
So, it's going to be that way for everybody. That's a part of the process. But, it's we're actually trying to decide what to do, whether to stay here or get another place. We're looking for another place at this point. Because that's the way it looks like it's going to be. The next place is going to serve higher purposes, more than we can actually do here.
Okay.
And so, if that's the case, then that's the way we're going to roll, So when your reality starts to shift and change, you go with them,
That's exciting. It
is exciting. Oh, yeah. There's so much. We don't ever stop. So it's kind of beautiful,
It is beautiful. You're beautiful. This has been beautiful.
Thank you guys for all you guys are doing. It's really important. Keep it up. And even if you don't understand it, don't worry about it. I have a saying, it doesn't matter if you understand, all you have to do is care.
Yeah, you're
and
right.
If you care, you won't care. Does that make sense?
If you care, you won't care. That's right. Yeah. I get that one.
Let go of the need to know a lot of stuff. Just get on board. Get ready, get excited, know it's going to be amazing and awesome, and it's going to be what you expect it to be. But we're clearing a lot of the old entitlement energy, all the victim energy collectively. Yeah. We're watching like massive, a lot of pointing the finger, a lot of blame, and that's just people playing out their own projections and giving their power away still. All the narcissistic energy is going to continue. But hold on, Todd, this is the key. The external narcissist is just saying and doing out loud what your inner narcissist believes.
Ooh. That'll rock you.
That's why I stopped, because your ego is your inner narcissist.
Yeah.
A narcissist plays on emotions, so it's going to use your emotions, guilt, blame, shame, all these things to control you, if you will. And the moment you become aware of this, the external narcissist just represents everything that's not fully pure and love and courage and power from within you. And that's it. But because of where we are with the old dimensions, does resolving, collapsing, whatever words you want to use, then that's going to increase for everybody still playing in those realities. The moment you clear your inner narcissist within yourself, you won't succumb to that anymore.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying that because you're going to see a lot more of it. Narcissist can be aggressive or passive aggressive, and the passive aggressive is a little bit harder in the beginning to detect. But the beauty is manipulation cannot play itself out if you can't be manipulated.
Right.
So you quit allowing yourself to be manipulated. You recognize the energies yourself, and you say, no, not anymore. And you about face, and you focus your energy and
create.
You will find once everybody comes into pure source creator energies, you are constantly creating with every breath.
Yeah.
You are creating, and you have to accomplish. So if anybody comes into your reality that doesn't hold that energy, that it'll actually, I would tell people, I have to stop doing 12,000 realities to be with this one person and do one reality at a time. I'd rather be by myself doing my 12,000 realities on a quantum level. It's so much easier.
Yeah.
And so everybody has to be energetically, to a place where everybody gets this, and your focus is on what you're consciously and intentionally creating individually and together. Because there's no dependency.
Yeah.
There's no give your power away. There's everybody standing full accountable for their self, their energy, and bringing the beauty is you bring together your gifts, you bring together your abundance, you bring together the awesome stuff, and you share that, and it creates more.
That's right.
You don't come together to dump your stuff on people. That's the old way.
And you row your own boat. Row your own space pod.
It's actually quite beautiful. It's very productive. It's a lot of fun. You get to play a whole lot while you work. You play while you work. So the people that, we just want to play all day long. Well, you're going to play, but you're going to be broke. So for us, we work and we play. And so you can actually experience the beauty and the abundance. And I want to say this, the more you evolve yourself, you're on a DNA level, the more light your body holds, the more you vibrate into realities that are more vibrant, they're more colorful, the weather's different. So for me, I don't experience what others experience in their reality and world. I have different weather over my house. When I leave my house, I'm like, there's sunshine over there, because I always have plasma over my house. Okay. And so plasma is different. You don't have the vibrant sunshine. So I have to wait until certain days and run out and get sunshine and then come back in. And because plasma is pure quantum energy. And so because I maintain a quantum state, then my universe, my weather is always plasma over my house. And you don't have the heat, and you don't have the sunshine like you did. You have when you wake up in the morning, you have one sunshine and sunrises, and then it flips over, and then you have a different weather once it flips over. So it's very different here. You're operating with different suns.
Yeah.
Everything, it's nothing like the old realities were. And the best way I can describe it is that every reality is vibrational. So for like people, when they come here, they can't stay in this vibration very long. All their stuff starts coming up, or they have to go away, or they go to sleep and stuff. The vibration here is so high. You have to be able to hold that vibration. It's going to trigger all your stuff. It's kind of the point. But most people can't stay here very long. So it's very interesting because the vibrations are so high. And I keep them that way because it's the only way I can function.
Yeah.
You will find you have to keep the vibration really high in order to function. Does that make sense, Todd?
Yes, it does. I've recently, with some very good wisdom from the Divine Feminine, created a portal where I'm at. Everything's in order. I got my shirts are ironed and they're all hung equally. It's not OCD. It's just I got my crystals. I got everything here. Yes, it is. It really is.
Respect for the space. It's a connection with the space because you can't do clutter. You can't do
Yeah.
chaos with stuff. The more stuff you have and the more chaotic it is, the more it interferes with your consciousness.
Yeah.
It has to be clean. So like after I go through a massive integration process, the first thing I do is clean and bring order to the house. And the house will scream, clean me, go get plants. Yeah. It will actually communicate with you and tell you, and I can feel the house when it starts to get dirty. And you get up and you clean out of respect. It's all vibrational.
Yeah.
And so, you know, when I right before I go into accomplish work, I will clean first. It's also getting your body back into a linear mode, because when you're cleaning, your body's moving back into a linear mode.
Yeah.
So I will clean, and then while I'm cleaning, my brain is working, and then I can actually go do linear work. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does, because there is a difference. I'm learning.
There is.
I mean, I'm just learning, but I walk around sometimes wondering, what the hell am I doing? You know?
You're going to do that a lot. You're going to walk around foggy, groggy. You're going to walk around foggy, groggy a lot. There's a lot of foggy, groggy because those are the veils. That's photonic light, and you're walking in a lucid dream.
Yeah.
And so technically, you're in a dream state in the waking state.
That's when I got here 3 weeks ago to this place I'm at now. The day I got here, I had that transmission. I thought, wait a minute, it's just flipped. You're actually in a dream. Everything's cool. You got nothing to worry about. It's just, you're walking in dimension. You're just in a dimension that's a little bit different than the other ones. And it was a great feeling. It just came in and it stayed with me for a little while. Then the grogginess. Then I went into the the washateria here, which is a small room. I was there for about 20 minutes trying to figure out, what am I doing here? I was just like, I don't even know what to do. I mean, it was funny.
You'll now the cool part is that in your other states of consciousness and the other dimensions, you're working in those. So sometimes when you can't function in these, you're working in the other ones, and our consciousness is spread across all dimensions. So like the other day, I couldn't do anything, but I was walking around, I was watching all the other dimensions and us working everything out. So I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I don't need to really do a whole lot. And I did what I could. I cleaned house, but I couldn't do any linear work. And I told Eve, I'm like, oh, the new reality is about to just show up. Because we're doing them over in the other dimensions. Just take a break and just do linear stuff. And so what will happen is you will wake up. Once you've slept, you get to enter the next dimensional space. So when you wake up, you're not in the same reality you were when you went to sleep the day before, but humans think they are.
I gotcha. Very cool.
It's very cool. Isn't it? Don't you love multidimensionality?
I'm digging it. I'm totally. I enjoyed it so much last time. I enjoyed it so much this time.
Now I want to tell you this. Every time you expand into this beautiful magical space, for a while you'll contract back down again, back into the space that isn't magical, because it's showing you everything that's not aligned.
Okay.
And your job is to see what's not vibrationally aligned and get it aligned. Move out anything that isn't done, that needs to be accomplished. Move through everything as fast as you can, because as soon as you do and go to sleep, you're going to jump into the next timeline.
Literally. Literally go to sleep. Yeah.
When you literally go to sleep. Yes. And so there will be days, I got to get this done. I got to get all the emails done. I got to do this, because you're about to shift and jump. And so you will have a feeling and you'll know. But it's really important to understand that you're able to wake up in a completely different reality than the day before. And everything that you've waited for is coming because you cleared it all in your sleep. You've been interacting, all these people, the emails that like, you were with me last night in my sleep. Yes. I can see myself teaching masses of people. I can see all of the realities. When you become fully conscious, you're also fully conscious in the sleep state too. So you don't ever sleep again. It's very different. You're always working. You're always doing stuff. You're always connecting. You're always reuniting. You're always clearing. It's a very different state than it was before. And so for a while, getting used to that, going, oh, am I never going to get another night's rest? No, not like the old days. No. Yeah. Because you're basically always moving into the next vibrational higher version of a dream. literally. And the foggy groggy is anchoring that light, photonic light, in your body and recoding your DNA so that your body can transmit the new reality that plays for you to walk in the next day.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, so I don't have to feel bad about it.
Oh, no. I'm just sharing all this because, you know, it can't be this easy if we get out of the way. It can be this easy if everybody gets on board. It can be this easy as everybody's ready. It's just that, you know, in each one of us, that's the beauty of the 9th dimensional template. We're moving into the 12th dimensional template. And so it's going to be really interesting because this is collective templates now, which means it's available for everybody who's ready for that. But everybody who's ready for that has to do the inner work and bring their vibration up, get their body's vibration up, and be very responsible for what they choose and transmit out in their words and what they invest. Notice the word investment. What you invest in becomes your physical reality for you to experience here. Time, energy, money, all of those things. And so choose wisely, because that's why we take great care in the things that we allow, is because we understand how responsible we have to be. We understand that we're the one that are going to suffer if we don't. We understand that it's our reality, and we are the one that are doing this with our body. And so being that conscious and present and aware within yourself means that the physical reality can now respond to you vibrationally based upon what you're transmitting out. Being conscious means that you are conscious of your transmission of every cell in your body. And on a human level, the human aspect isn't conscious of their body's transmission because they don't know what's in their cells.
Yeah.
When I said you can hear your body talking to you, so this is how I describe it. Your brain, your ears translate in words those things that humans call thoughts. They are translating the frequencies located in your cells to your head so you can hear them. That's it.
Wow.
Okay? So when you hear a lower vibrational program, that's coming from somewhere in your body so that you can hear it. If you're not present and listening to inside, you have no clue. And if there's a lot of emotion, you get caught up in it. So you separate the emotion and the thought, and you work with them separately.
Okay.
You break the belief system down. You break it down yourself, and you recreate it according to a whole new belief system, one that's aligned with your highest everything. And so when you're listening inside of your body, Todd, you're hearing all the different vibrational frequencies, and you get to discern and decide which ones you're going to believe.
Yeah.
The more in tune you are with your body, the more you can activate those encodements through the key codes that are available to each person. Everything I write is a key code. Everything I write and share, every class I teach, everything I do is light encoded. It activates those key codes. You don't have to understand it. It's multidimensional. It does it for you. You just have to do the conscious work, if you will. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Not you. I'm talking to anybody.
No. It's talking to me.
But for you.
Okay. All right. So that was, we're 3 hours and 24 minutes and 18 seconds into this broadcast. And we got a show coming up in 30 minutes with my friend Jen Lynn. Very interesting story. I'll just leave it for the show if you want to watch it at 3. I'm going to keep going. That's Lisa Transcendence Brown. A lot of you know her. She has been kind of AOL for a couple of years, but I think somebody mentioned that she had publicly stated she was not going to be so public and be doing some work on the inner planes. But yeah, if you wanted to watch, we did 4 shows, 2018 and 2019. They were all 4 hours apiece. They're all very informative. So if you search Soul Speaks 5D, Lisa Transcendence Brown, you'll find 4 episodes on Facebook, 4 on the same 4 on YouTube. And yeah, we're just going to keep playing clips and hanging out and chilling. We're going to be trying to broadcast, at least 6 hours, maybe 8 hours a day, and just try to keep It keeps me grounded to sit in this chair even when I don't feel like it. It's better than sitting in the car this morning and going, hey, I think I'm just going to quit this whole thing. But we all have those. We all have those types of thoughts, and it's okay. It's all right. Let's see what we got here. I got this really cool tape or video in my archives, in the Soulogy archives, and it's of Shekinah Rose and Romeo Barron, Sacred Romeo, and it's from 2019, and we had like a impromptu Soulogy gathering. We had about 40 or 50 people. They showed up, and yeah, this is really cool. I found this the other day. I listened to it, and I picked up that this was actually like a sacred union, divine union frequency in artistic form, you know. But if you listen to it, this wasn't planned, it wasn't rehearsed, and it was really cool because obviously Shekinah with the harmonic light language, sacred harmonic, I'm sorry Shekinah because I don't know what you call it, and Romeo's is very distinctly different, but I was standing on the stage, you know, doing the MC, and Morgan was in the audience, and she sent me a note, and she said, why don't you get, because Shekinah was up at the stage, and she goes, why don't you get Romeo to come up there and let them do something together? So, brilliant idea. I asked him to come up. I asked her if she was okay with it, and I'll just let you take this in. It's a few minutes long. It's very, very good. I'd encourage you to stick around to it.
Nobody's taking long. That's okay. You know, we just make it up as we go. We see some new people walking in. One of them is a friend of ours from the community, Danny Picard, the one that's looking around to see who I'm looking at. So, and I'd love to get Romeo back up here, maybe Shekinah, mix it up a little bit. What do y'all think about that? Are you up for that, Romeo? Yes. Shekinah? So, Danny, you want to come up after they do a little freestyle here? All right? This ought to be epic. Romeo? We got 2 mics, Romeo. Come on up. Get the other side. Test. You guys just do whatever you want to do.
Thank you. This will be epic.
Inanandre kere hiki shuturana, inandre kere
I think they're about done. As soon as they're done, I'm ready. Okay, they keep playing. You do that? Yeah, it's pretty cool, right? That was spontaneous, and it was very cool. I wish the sound was a little bit better. Maybe one day when we have the technology, we can play with the, whatever you call it, the recording with some high-tech equipment and bring out the magic a little bit more even. So yeah, we're just rolling along, trying to mix some things up. I just want to say again to everybody, thank you for your continued love and support and contributions. Allow us to keep doing this every day. We don't know what we're doing. I don't think anybody actually knows what they're doing right now. But it's good to keep moving. It's good to keep moving the direction, even if they're like little baby steps like I'm taking. Just in all aspects of the things that are happening. At least that's how it seems to be working for me. Every time I run into somebody who's got it all figured out, the next day they're screaming. And that goes for me too. So I'm through believing that I've got it figured out. Just keep the heart open and try to be as transparent as possible. Yeah, so let's see. We got a little bit of Judith Kuzel here. And I think I got a little bit of Franco here. Let's see. So, I don't know, let's put on some music. We got 21 minutes before the next show. So let's just see what we can find. Ty gave me some music. Let's see. Where is it? Soulogy music. Let's see what we would like to hear. Tribal flute number 2, tribal flute number 3, or tribal flute number 1. Let's do tribal flute number 1. How about that? Boom. See how the sound is. Test, test, test. Test, test, test. All right, let's try a little something. So, test. Test. Okay. So my story is your story. And the story begins as it all begins, in the void. The beginningless beginning, the endless ends of the endless end, and you know the drill. So why are we here? Faith and fear, far and near. And so what's the big deal? Right now, as we get deeper into our inner space travels, for me anyway, the organic has taken on more and more of my soul. My soul, or my human or both, is screaming, give me Mama Earth again, so I can feel again. It's all coming back now. Soul's shaking and creating. Life's cracking open. Humanity is awakening. Hearts splintering and imploding. Synchronicities and serendipity. Human complexities. Soul's simple profundities. What's going on with you? And what's going on with me? Timing and the grace of the Mother Goddess. We've been instantly shaken, a golden devastation, wild revelations, and we found the soul is you and me. We grounded in the street, danced with devils and anointed angels' feet. Appointed fears to lead, power was conceded and concealed. I think the song ran out. Let's get another one. Maybe something that has a little more oomph for the last part of it. Just unwinding, trying to ground, and this is how I do it. So hope you and thank you for spending some time with me. All right, let's see. Let's try another one. Well, let's just it's like doing pin the tail on the donkey. Let's go. Let's do Funk Groove number 5. How about that? I have no idea what this is going to sound like. Cool. Yeah, this sounds better. Yeah, we need some cowbell. Need some Christopher Walken Saturday Night Live cowbell. Instantly shaken, golden devastation, wild revelations. We found the soul is you and me. Grounded in the street, danced with devils, anointed angels' feet. We appointed fears to lead. Power conceded and concealed. Polarity's duality lived and breathed and revealed. This is the experience we needed. It's a soul sealed, refilled, revealed, believe me. Beautiful nightmares, disappointed dreams. Danced and found my feet, fantasies incomplete. Angels visiting me, demons tethering me. Life severing me, strife treasuring me. Limited impossibilities. Limitless possibilities, paradox of alchemy, 0-point remedy, Assyrian cowbell. Isness, business, bigness. Pretended, mentioned, I'm not ascended. I'm growing up, showing up, had enough. Self-destruct, initiation, indoctrination. Hell's vacation. Heaven's, hell's reinterpretation. By the grace of it all, every angel has to fall. Blessed are the peaceful misconceptions. Misgivings, misdirections playing me. I am soul, all that's left of you and me. All we have, all we need. Drinking wisdom from the wisdom tree. Nectars of the goddess. So many times I've dropped to my knees. For every sun that rises, every soul that tries, every human ever refused to die. Multiply that by infinity and divinity. All blessings, brothers and sisters, it's a holy trinity. Just having a little fun. Thank you for sticking around. We got my friend Jen Lynn on. I've known her a few years. Very cool chick. She's got a great story. We're going to be starting in 13 minutes and see what happens after that. Thanks, everybody.